is Sports with an Accent, Deportes con Acento. Here's your host, Robert Soltero.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Sports with an Accent, Deportes con Acento. As Brian said, I'm Robert. I'm still Robert, right? Am I still Robert?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Damn it. Okay. Next to me is Josiah Schuneman. We got Brian Rios, all the way from San Juan, Puerto Rico. And we got Seth Pollack, all the way from Dayton, Ohio.
Hello, everybody.
How are you guys doing?
Great.
Good.
Great.
Good?
About
Good.
as good as I was 10 minutes ago when we were talking.
Yeah, I wasn't as good. Now let's get the energy up. So let's just go off like we do this week. NBA, MLB, NFL, and then a fun topic. And you guys are ready to start, right?
Let's
Yes,
go.
sir.
Okay. So first NBA topic. Westbrook is bad for the Rockets. What does this mean for the Rockets now?
Well, it's huge. It is monumental in this series right now. The thing is, they didn't really need him that much yesterday because they made quick work of the Thunder. Geez, way to show up, Thunder yesterday. But this changes a lot of things for them because offensively, they take a big step up. Now, with him in the lineup, their defense might take a little bit of a step back. But the thing is, this team is built very uniquely. We know this already, the small ball and stuff like that. Yesterday Westbrook didn't play that well, but it's like his first game back. So I didn't expect him to come back and just dominate. It'll take him a little bit of time. But that series right now with the Rockets and Thunder, I'm still going to stand by my prediction. And I still think the Thunder will win in 7. I'm going to stick by it because it's 3-2. I know the Thunder looked terrible yesterday, but you never know. I'm just looking at Brian's face right now, and he just looks absolutely shocked. And I know the Rockets right now definitely are riding high because they looked really good yesterday. And James Harden had 31 in under 30 minutes, and their defense is really good.
80 points, man. I have never seen James Harden led team that they let a team just only score 80 points.
Yeah, their defense is underrated. I will say that.
It's playing small ball.
Yeah. Wait, did you just say earlier? Because I was gonna ask. Sorry to interrupt you guys, but were we just gonna say that what their defense is gonna be worse with Westbrook back on?
Well, yeah, because Westbrook's defense isn't very good.
What?
So it might take a
What's
step
wrong
back.
with you? He's one of the best defensive guards in the NBA. Point guards. Yes, he is.
Are you serious?
Yes, he is.
Get out of here, man.
Yes, he is.
No, he's
Guys,
not.
what do you guys think?
No, he's not. Stop.
Okay,
it.
I think he's athletic. I think he can be. He could be
has one of
because
them.
he's just as he's one of the
strong
most.
as hell. He's gonna body those guards up.
It's the same as saying Harden is actually a good defender when he tries.
No.
Brian's right. Okay.
No.
Russell Westbrook.
The disrespect is real. Oh my
Dude,
god.
How is that?
Swear to God, it's not because
It's
I
the
swear
truth. I'm just being honest.
Oh,
Yeah, hold on.
Okay, there's
I
no
bet-
way you're gonna say Stephen Curry's better defender than Russell Westbrook.
No,
No
that's
way,
not true.
no way.
I don't
You
think
know,
so.
I think so.
I don't think so.
I
Josiah.
think so. I think he is. He was a steals leader at one point in the NBA.
Yeah, when they cut the lanes because
Oh
they're
my
a fast-paced team.
I think Steph's not a great defender himself either, but he's a good team defender.
Dude,
I think Westbrook can be when he wants to be. I just don't feel like he always wants to be or doesn't put the best effort out on defense. I've seen plenty of point guards that defend better than him. So, yes, they will take a slight step back defensively, but that doesn't mean that they won't have. They have the momentum going right now, and I think they're in a good position for sure to close it out. I offensively is where they really will take a step up because he owns the paint. We know that. His defense. It's when he when he wants to be, he can get after on defense. Just that it's not always there all the time. So no, he's not one of the best defensive point guards. I can name plenty other point guards that can defend better than him. So, but who wanted to go next? Who wanted to get their thoughts next? Seth, Brian?
Seth, you want to go?
Sure. I agree that it's huge to get him back. Josiah's going to survive this segment. But it's huge for the Rockets. You saw Game 5. Even with Westbrook not doing a whole lot, like can still destroy the Thunder. To have kind of their missing piece return and not be in dire straits, that's big for the Rockets. I mean, this was the thing that if they struggled in the first round, it could have cost them a chance at the Western Conference, and now they don't have to worry about that. So yeah, it's a big deal.
I think it's huge that Westbrook's back for the Rockets. They look really, really good yesterday. I have no idea how Josiah is sticking to his guns there, but I'm fine. I'll give you props to sticking to your guns, because I would too. Because if I made that choice, I'd still stick to it because it's possible. But yeah, I don't think that it's gonna happen. I think that the Rockets are gonna win this in 7, but they're gonna win it.
No, I think they're gonna win tomorrow.
Yeah, Rockets in 6.
Yeah, Rockets in 6.
I think that the Thunder will take
Actually,
it.
I still think he's gonna be on minutes restriction. So now we talked about Westbrook and all that. So let's just move on, because we're gonna talk after this about the whole every series left, like the first round series left. Let's just go to that one. And let me just start off and saying, like, yeah, as I said, Rockets in 6. Their defense looks really good. They can't even play Steven Adams anymore because they're being too fast. And the lineup is actually working with PJ Tucker. They're having to play Danilo Gallinari at the 5?
At times, yeah.
Which is not something you want. And plus, they had Lou Dort shoot 10 threes yesterday and he made 1.
Yeah, he can't.
They're just guarding everybody and leaving him open all the time because all he can do is defend. He can't shoot, and they're winning by doing that. And I think that's what is going to continue, because I don't think from the morning, from night to morning, he's going to become a good shooter.
Yeah, but also you got to take into account that Dennis Schroeder, didn't he get kicked out of the game?
Yeah, but he's gonna play. He's gonna play. He only got fined.
Him and PJ Tucker,
Yeah.
I believe, both.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think PJ Tucker should have gotten fined.
I don't think either one of them should have gotten kicked out of the game.
Okay, well, dude, PJ Tucker, Dennis Schroeder hit him in the crotch.
Did he?
Yeah.
Is it?
I don't know. Was that?
It was a low blow.
Do you think that was intentional?
Well, he's done it before.
When was the last? When did he do that?
I know he has history with it.
I haven't seen it.
Well, anyways,
the first time for me.
that affected the Thunder, I think, heavily, because Dennis Schroeder was the one scoring for the team at the time, and not only that, but then they started attacking their young player Alexander.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
and
up and down series.
And that's really what changed the game, when all of a sudden there was no Schroeder and all of a sudden they were attacking Alexander defensive like every time down court. So you gotta admit, it's very interesting what Houston's doing, and I think they'll win this series, but I don't know. I don't think that they'll beat a team like the Clippers, coming up, or the Lakers coming up, because I think they have answers for their small ball. I think the Lakers and the Clippers can play small ball perfectly with guys that are 7 feet tall. Or actually not 7 feet tall. Take that back, because the Clippers don't have 7 feet tall. But 6'10", 6'9".
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's working this series for them, with their formula. But yeah, like you said, it's a 4-5 matchup, so they're going to get the Lakers next. So that's going to be a much tougher series for them. And Anthony Davis is going to, if they do move on, which there's a good chance they will, but if they do, they're going to have their hands full with Anthony Davis. So that would be a really tough series for them. So.
And they have Tyson Chandler somewhere in their bench. Come on, dust it off, old man. Dust it off.
He's going to bring that championship mentality with the Mavericks.
Oh my God. In the 5 minutes that he'll play.
Yeah, I saw him on the court yesterday. I was like, oh my God. I felt like I haven't seen you forever.
Yeah, just for a technical free throw, I think. That was it. He didn't play anything else. So, but hey, who knows? If they do face the Lakers,
I can see him out there guarding Anthony Davis.
The Lakers got a lot of size, so it's they might need him.
Yeah. Set.
Talking about the Clippers series.
No, we're talking about the Thunder and the Rockets.
Okay, we're still talking about that. I already said Rockets in 6. So
Okay, that's your response. Okay.
yeah.
So we're only gonna talk about 4 series, and the 2 we already mentioned that one, and the other one we're gonna mention is like the other series that's going on right now that hasn't ended, and that's the one that's being played right now between the Denver Nuggets and the Utah Jazz, and it's the end of the third quarter, first quarter, my bad.
Yeah.
And it's 36-38. Wait, somebody shot and he missed. So 36-30 at the end of the first quarter. What do you guys think will happen tonight? And do they force the game 7? Do the Nuggets force the game 7?
Oof, man. I think the Jazz will close it out tonight. I mean, the Nuggets are getting Gary Harris back tonight, but it's just like he hasn't played in a long time. So I really don't know what he can give them. But for one thing's for certain, Jamal Murray's done everything he has been able to do to try to keep them in this series because he has been absolutely unbelievable in this whole series. I mean, 42 in Game 5, and then in Game 4, his duel with Donovan Mitchell. Honestly, that's one for the books. Both guys putting up 50. It's like I came in kind of looking at the matchup between Jokic and Gobert, but it's really been Mitchell and Murray just going at this entire series. And so, but Jokic, not to be outdone, has played very well himself, but they're going to need to get more out of certain players if they want to keep the series going because Paul Millsap has been horrible in this series. He has done absolutely nothing, and he's been scoring in single digits every game. The guy needs to step it up. He needs to play better. Now, one guy that I have been impressed with also is Michael Porter Jr. has had a good series. You know, he started off a little bit rocky, but he's turned in a nice series. He's been efficient. So the Nuggets, I mean, they're going to fight. I expect this game to come down to the wire. This has been a very entertaining series. I mean, the Jazz have surprised me. Like I said last week, they have been really good. Mike Conley, I mean, he looks like the old Mike Conley. And as long as he's playing like that, and Joe Ingles, who's given them some decent play, and Jordan Clarkson's been really good off the bench. As long as those guys continue to do that, I think the Jazz will close it out tonight. Either way, if they don't win tonight, I think they'll win the series. I think right now their offense just seems to be clicking a lot, and their defense has been good. It's good to see now the Nuggets have shown more effort. They're playing harder and playing more desperate, but I think the Jazz will take this one tonight.
Yeah, I mean, the Jazz are, as you said, up at this point, a quarter in. I mean, Game 5 kind of felt like the Nuggets' last gasp. The Jazz were even up double digits in the third quarter there, the Jazz were up double digits in the third quarter, and we kind of saw Jamal Murray kind of will his team to kind of what felt like one last victory to me. They can win tonight, but I don't see them winning in Game 7 if they win tonight. So I'd love to see it. I've been rooting for Denver. I picked them in 6 originally, I believe. And they just haven't come together to be what I thought they would be in the series. And the Jazz have played really well.
I think the Jazz take it tonight. And it's just because I feel like they've been the killer in this series. Like they have the killer instinct, and it feels like the Denver Nuggets don't. Which I find kind of weird because I felt like this was the year that Denver, I'm gonna make my big step. I'm gonna become the big boy team now.
Yeah, but they're still too young. Like I believe.
Of course, I almost feel like they need more veterans that have won a championship,
and it can't be Paul Millsap. Like
they need a veteran that's won a championship.
Exactly.
They need a veteran that's like closed out games in like playoff like moments. Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't go for an Andre Iguodala, to tell you the truth, because he would have helped a lot.
They actually had him. Remember that?
In a Denver team.
Before he went to the Warriors.
They did have him at one point. He was good. Yeah. I mean, I do. Yeah. The championship experience is very important. The Nuggets just don't have that anywhere. So,
but in a team like Denver, it would make the difference. I feel because it's like they have all the talent. They have all the pieces are there. It's just, it almost feels like they just need one veteran guy saying like, you could do it, man. You could do it because you have to do it this way and you have to do it right. And you have to like make sure to keep the focus of the whole team the whole entire time.
But
They don't
even,
have.
even if they lose tonight, which I think they will, their future is okay right now. I mean, you got a stud at MPJ who still needs like sorry guys.
Oh, look who's popular.
Yes. Wait, can you guys see my screen with like the call?
No, I don't know who it is. It'd be very awesome if I did. Ooh, and somebody wants some
Wow, somebody's
something.
popular. My goodness.
Wondering who it is now.
My sister.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So where was I?
Something about young players. much
Yeah, I
more junior.
mean their future. Yeah, MPJ still need developing. I
Bol
think Bobo as well. He has potential.
Why didn't they play more Bobo? That's beyond me.
That's
I
a
think
really
he'll
good
be
point.
a bit exposed there.
But so what?
What do you mean? But
Why
Well,
not?
you want him to be exposed on a playoff game?
Yes, because you want to give him that experience to play.
But if he causes him the get him to win.
he's not gonna cost them the win because they're not gonna give him those type of minutes.
And honestly, if it happened, they were willing to do that because it's just like it's the playoffs. They want because Bull, you look at him, he's got a ton of upside. He's raw, but it's like, if you're losing games, you're falling down 3-1 in the series. Teams tend to make changes. They didn't really make any changes. They kind of just stuck with what they had. Like I wouldn't have a problem with them just putting Bull in the rotation, see what you got out of him. I mean, he's got length, so and a ton of versatility.
And
So
a shot. He should have been in that rotation. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
he will though.
For me,
Eventually.
Gary Harris is a guy who gets injured a lot, and I don't think he's just gonna. I don't think he should be there next year. He just gets injured a lot. He's never he produces, but like there's certain times where he just disappears as well. So
You're gonna see a bunch of changes on that
Yeah.
team. I can foresee like a lot of changes.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
and like I said, they really need that veteran. They really need it. They need it. They need any. What?
this series, I was just gonna say that the Jazz defense, man, it's always been good. They know how to play fast. They know how to play slower. They know how to maintain themselves on defense. So
Well, their defense this year wasn't that good. It wasn't as good as recent years. In this series, you're starting to see them play more like that now. Although I will mention, the Nuggets also partially why they've fallen behind is the fact that they've had injuries. And not having Gary Harris for this whole series and Will Barton, who was this season was balling for them. If they would have had those guys, this series could have been a lot different. So people also forget about that and they need to keep that in mind. But not to take anything away from the Jazz, they have absolutely played extremely well and they've really stepped up in the series. But if the Nuggets were healthy, maybe this would have been different. But still, it's not. I'm not going to use it for the Nuggets. It's not an excuse because they still have a lot of talent and they've had guys on that team that aren't playing to the level of the way they should be playing, like Paul Millsap. So you can't. You can't use that entirely as an excuse. But it's something to think about.
Donovan Spider-Man Mitchell. I don't know, whatever he wants to be called.
you mean
Mitchell.
Spider.
Donovan's future Celtic Mitchell? Yeah.
Wow.
Get out of here.
And that's like a little much. That's too early to call.
No, it's not.
When
Yeah,
when
you
Kemba's
think
contract ends, he's gonna be in Boston.
I don't see that.
Keep dreaming. That's all I say.
Okay,
But
exactly.
he's a killer, man.
3 years.
He's a killer, and he reminds me. And I've always said it reminds me so much of Dwayne Wade. His game play
yeah.
just like it spells out
I would
Dwayne
say
Wade.
this. He shows. I wouldn't say like almost like some players that he shows inconsistency, but he does sometimes show inconsistency. Dwayne Wade didn't do that as much, but
Well, I mean, Dwayne Wade went through his growing pains too, his early career. I mean, Donovan Mitchell was just starting off, and Wade was a freaking ace on defense. So
Flash.
Mitchell's still trying to figure that part out of his game.
Flash.
And also Dwayne had Shaq there for like the early years, so it's not like you can't compare Shaq to like Rudy Gobert. And you can't even compare like that early Miami team to like the Jazz like support system right now.
So we're done with this series, right?
Yeah, I've got nothing else.
Okay. So moving on, the two series we want to talk about is the two series that are gonna be played that are decided already. So today we got the second round matchup between teams, and that was the Raptors and the Celtics. You want to start?
Yeah. First off, I didn't get a chance to see the whole game, but I saw a little bit of highlights, and I mean, the Celtics definitely had a really good start to the series. This was it was kind of like how they manhandled them late in the bubble. I mean, they have shown that despite the fact that they do have a bit of a disadvantage in length and size against the Raptors, they make up for it because they got a lot of versatility, a lot of guys that can play different positions and switch everything, and they got a lot of good production from everyone. It was a balanced scoring effort. Smart, Tatum, Brown, everyone, they really stepped up, and Smart played really well too. But I'm not going to overreact over game one and say, oh, the Celtics got this in the bag. Oh, this is their series. No, this is going to be a 7-game series. It's going to be a long, grueling series. I expect the Raptors to make adjustments in game two. But one thing I will say is Pascal Siakam in the first round was all right. If the Raptors
he has been all right the whole bubble, I would say.
I don't know about that, but I think like it's important for the Raptors. It's important because they got a lot of talent, but they need Siakam to play better. His numbers have been pretty good, but when you're the best player or one of the best players on a playoff team, your numbers got to take a step up. Your numbers got to go up. That way that can help your team get to that next level. So Siakam's got to be better. Van Vliet struggled today, although he had a really good series against the Nets. Lowry, he has that ankle issue, but he's going to play through that whole thing. I'm not concerned that much with that, but it's a very intriguing series. The Celtics, it's very, very impressive start. But this is still going to be a difficult series because of the fact that not just because of the Raptors and the way they play, their defense and their length, but Celtics not having Gordon Hayward, that could play a factor in the series as well. So that now they have Tatum playing the 4. They're going a little bit smaller. And as we've seen with the Rockets, you can play smaller and do well. But I think this Raptors team really matches up well with the Celtics because they while they're bigger and they have length, they also have the quickness to keep up with some of the guys in Celtics. And the depth, to me, is a huge factor. So I still, because we had discussed off the podcast about who we thought would win the series. I think the Raptors coming in, we're going to win in 7 games. I'm still going to stick by that. I think they'll win it in 7, but it's going to be a very exciting series. And the Eastern Conference playoffs, and we'll get to the other one in a second, but they're really good matchups. So,
Seth, you want to go?
Who's next?
Yeah, sure. Before the series, I thought Celtics in 6, and I'm going to stick with that. This is an evenly matched series, like 2 fairly evenly matched teams, but I just trust Jason Tatum, and I trust him more than I trust anybody on the Raptors. Even though the Raptors obviously had that championship experience, I think the Celtics are just going to have too much in the end. I didn't get to watch this game either, but I think we're going to see more games like this one. And the Raptors are going to steal a couple. I think maybe even in game 2, to kind of after one team goes out and outplays the other team, the Raptors obviously have to be the more aggressive team. They're the team that has kind of more on the line in game 2. So I think they're going to play like that. I think they're going to, although I could see that one being a close game and going either way. But in the end, I think the Celtics have too much for them, so I'm taking them in 6.
Right.
I'm taking the Celtics, and I'm thinking about taking the Celtics in 6. I don't know. I just didn't see it from the Raptors today. I don't know if I will ever see it. But yeah, the Celtics were playing really well, and they look really good. And Jason Tatum's, the whole team just looks good. Jalen, I don't know. It's awesome that all of a sudden Jason Tatum and Brown stepped up, and all stepped up in Gordon Hayward's absence, and I feel like it's like they're really playing as a team right now, and I also feel like beating the Raptors is going to be huge for their confidence, going into the next series also. But But yeah, I just didn't see it from the Raptors today. And maybe it's like me and the body language.
I'm just gonna say I enjoyed that game. Sorry, guys. No, you're gonna hate me, but I enjoyed it. Man, I just don't think it was just the Raptors missing shots. I just think the Celtics defense is the best I've seen it all season, and even better than they've shown really good defense before. But they were like from the beginning to end, they were tightening up those guards. It was hard for like the guards to attack the paint, and they forced them to make like throw shots from the perimeter, and they were struggling. So I know the Raptors are going to make shots because Van Vliet is not going to do this again, I believe. Maybe he'll have another game where the Celtics defense tightens up as well. But like in Siakam, man, the versatility we have against Siakam, where you can just throw either Brown or either Marcus Smart, because you saw Marcus Smart battling against him in the paint, and he just couldn't make shots in the paint against Marcus Smart. And the thing that I'm really impressed about is the bigs. Look at this. Enes Kanter didn't play a single minute in the entire game, in which you couldn't have played him because the thing is he would have been killed in the pick and roll. And you also have a faster guy off the bench and a more athletic guy in Rob Williams, who really played well today. Like he had a better game that he had played the entire series that he played against Philly. He was smart. He was getting blocks in the fast break. Their defense in the fast break was good. I feel like the Celtics, only thing they could have done better was their pace on offense. They could have done better on that because they committed a couple of turnovers that were like, wow, like they look like college kids making turnovers, which I didn't like. But like their offense came from defense today, which I liked. Yeah, Daniel Tice and Robert Williams did a really good job against those bigs from Toronto.
Yeah, and I actually said, remember we were talking about it. I said that this would be a series for Robert Williams because Brad Stevens had said that he's going to be like his rotations will never be fully set. He's going to go off matchups because the playoffs are about matchups, and I think in a series like this, Robert Williams is best suited for it because Enes Kanter is just his defense is just not very good. I mean, offensively he would help them, but you know with the Raptors and the way they're built, I think Robert Williams is the better fit. And yeah, they do have a lot of guys that they can throw at Siakam and Lowry, but you know, the same can be said for the Raptors. And I that's why I think they're going to make adjustments. I think game 2 is going to be a much different type of game because I think defensively they're going to tighten it up and they're going to start, you know, throwing different guys at Tatum and Brown because they got a lot of different players and different guys they can go to. So I just still think this is going to be a very grueling and close series, and it's going to go all 7 games.
And it helped the Raptors that they didn't play on Thursday because maybe Kyle Lowry wouldn't have played on Thursday.
Yeah, that is a good point because he did have that ankle injury at the end of the series against the Nets. So,
yeah.
But it's good. Yeah, it's good because they definitely need him if they want to win this series.
So, you said Celtics in 6. You said Celtics in the Raptors in 7. You said Brian. You said Celtics in what?
6.
I say Celtics in 6 as well. Yeah.
3 against 1.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys have any final thoughts on that?
Nope.
Okay. So
That's
next,
for Josiah having his arms crossed.
next series, Heat and Bucks. So the Bucks were the only East team who lost a game, and the Heat just came out of sweeping the Pacers. Before that, now that I remember, what do you guys think of Nate McMillan being fired?
Yeah, wow, that's oh God,
Didn't make sense to me at all.
I feel like it was too early. I think not. I think he's done a good job with. I think he has done a terrific job with the team. Now they haven't gotten out of the first round, but it was like the past 2 years they've had such bad luck
And the injuries.
with injuries.
Yeah, the injuries. Yeah.
Last year was Oladipo,
Sabonis.
and they didn't stand a chance against the Celtics last year. And this year is Sabonis. If they would have had both those guys, they could have easily been out of the first round last year and this year. So it's like I wouldn't. That's not Nate McMillan's fault. Now, yeah, they could have. But the thing is, in the regular season, they've always been good with Nate McMillan, and it feels to me like those players really liked playing with him. And I just liked the way they played, the way their system was. They moved the ball really well. and they play good defense, and they're constructed as they got a good team, and I think they have talent. It's just been really bad luck.
They give him an extension like a couple days before, like they fired him, which it doesn't make sense to me.
That was the craziest part to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad because I almost feel like the project wasn't over.
Yeah, no,
Like the Pacers, like I almost feel like I don't understand why you would fire him unless like you were like totally expecting to make it to like the finals this year.
Yeah.
And like and I don't think that you would have. Like I don't think that like I understand Brown's firing in Philly. I totally understand that one. But I really didn't understand this one because I feel like he at least deserved one more year.
Yeah.
To prove that his project was in the up and up, which I do believe his project was in the up and up. I don't think that his project was like that the Pacers were like a lost cause. I don't think the Pacers are a lost cause at all. I think they're actually in the up and up. I think that they're like one talented player away from making it like, and who knows? It could even be TJ Warren, taking like a huge step next season.
Well, also there's also Oladipo, who next year I expect him to play a lot better than he has this year. And like, I don't even think they're a player away. I think that they have all the talent. I mean, I really do.
Maybe
it's just
backups.
bad luck. Maybe no. I think they're deep enough too. I really do. I like their talent. I mean, the lineup of Brogdon, Oladipo, Warren, Sabonis, Turner. That's an amazing lineup right there. And then off the bench, you got the Holiday brothers. I like Aaron Holiday. I think he's got some upside to him.
Mhm.
You know, Doug McDermott with his shooting off the bench. Like, I think this team is pretty. I think next year would be like. I mean, the thing is, this year I thought like with Sabonis not getting hurt, I thought they were at potentially a dark horse in the Eastern Conference. But it's just like it really was health. That was the issue for them because none of these guys have been able to play together for an extended period of time. And it's just kind of bad luck is how it happened. And I feel like to put that on Nate McMillan and just kind of fire him and send him off because of that, I just think is unfair. I think you should have given him one more chance. Now it's like, now they got to go find somebody else. And it's just, I don't know. I don't think they were the team that needed to make a coaching change.
And also, I heard that they were trying to get Mike D'Antoni, which doesn't make sense to me at all. Where Mike D'Antoni, look what he did. He traded Capella to play small ball, and one of the most important players on the Pacers is a big.
Yeah, you can't.
It doesn't make sense to me at all.
No, if you were to hire Mike D'Antoni, you got to change the core of that team. Like this team is not even. They don't have. I mean, they have some 3-point shooting, but they're no. It's like this team is not built to play that type of offense. They were perfect for what Nate McMillan wanted and what Nate McMillan was teaching them. Like that was a perfect match. And now, now they're not back to the drawing board again.
Who do you go to? Who like just before we jump on the next topic? Who do you see that fits that system?
Kenny Atkinson? Yeah, that makes sense a lot. That makes a lot of sense, really.
I think that would really work. I mean, his coaching, he's a great coach.
Mike Woodson.
Well,
he just signed as an assistant in New York, but yeah.
But no, I think Atkinson would be a good hire. Here's what's crazy. I'm hearing that Ty Lue's getting more like looks at from teams, which I think is absolutely ridiculous.
Let him get the looks. He has a championship ring. Don't don't play a hate.
How about our old friend Mike Brown?
Oh God!
Oh God! Please, no. He doesn't deserve another shot.
I'm intrigued.
I actually prefer him over Ty Lue.
Honestly, yeah, because Mike Brown, that they're built to be a good defensive team, and Mike Brown's a good defensive coach.
Yeah, but
so it makes sense.
I think they'd be stuck in neutral with Mike Brown. I don't think they would make any big step up.
I think they will.
Kenny Atkinson at least would help them continue to get better and improve. But it's like coaching. Like it's like I don't even think it's just crazy the fact that we're even in this situation. The Pacers are even in this situation right now because the problem is health. Yeah. It's not coaching. So I just don't. I don't get it. I don't understand why they're in this situation right now.
Why would Mike D'Antoni go from Houston to Indianapolis? Doesn't make sense at all.
I don't even know why he would leave Houston. I feel like he's stuck there. I feel like he's never going to leave that team.
I feel like he's going to leave, but not to
where else?
Where else? Indianapolis.
Who else?
Where else? He already failed in LA.
Yeah, and who else wants to take 63s on their team? I mean, I I think the Rockets literally, him and Mike D'Antoni are just.
I
they're
think
insane.
actually before we like finish this like timer thing, I think that the only coach that's like established that might actually move to somewhere is Popovich to like New Jersey. I mean, not New Jersey, Brooklyn. Sorry.
Dude, I don't think that's gonna happen at all.
They're still New Jersey to me.
I don't think Pop's gonna leave.
And I agree with Robert. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Really?
It
I
doesn't-
don't know, man.
You really want to?
I don't know. You never know, honestly.
I don't know,
Wait a
man.
minute. Pop is a coach that wants you to pass the ball, be passing the ball. Why would you want him coaching Kyrie?
Maybe that's exactly what Kyrie needs. Is a coach.
Exactly why you want him coaching Kyrie.
To Greg Popovich? Yeah, I would think
I mean,
so.
you better listen to Greg Popovich. That's like the main thing.
If you don't listen
And
to
you
Greg
gotta
Popovich,
think that next year, next year, next year,
no, it's KD.
it's
It's
KD.
KD.
Next
Championship experience.
year, Kyrie's gonna be like, yeah, I'm Robin again.
Got the egos. Like, do you think Pop wants to deal with those egos?
KD, I'm sure
I
he
mean,
can.
if you look at what the San Antonio talent pool is right now,
Yeah, I
maybe.
mean, the Brooklyn has talent, and it's like you had.
it's
Greg
New York
Popovich.
City, and like it's not like
Yeah, but
Oh my
Pop
God.
Pop is like an older coach.
Yeah.
It
How
was
do we
like,
know that Pop loves New
he
York?
didn't drink to go to Brooklyn, you know?
Like I mean this is a dude like he worked at Air Force for like over a decade, I believe, and then with the Spurs, like he seems like the kind of guy who just like he's gonna retire there, even if they're not that good, even if they don't have all the talent. I don't think that's what it's about for him. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe
but-
he wants to
but-
take one last run, but I doubt it.
But here's the thing, like, okay, I always think like anything is possible with Pop right now, especially like, sadly, he lost his wife last year, and like some people want change just because of that. Like
Or because that happened, maybe that will have something to do with why he'll just stop coaching. So
Well, but when something like that happens too, you might want to lose yourself in your work. And he's
Yeah, it's better because why would he want to be lonely all the time in his house?
well, he has family too. He has.
I mean,
Yeah,
and it's kind of unfair to like completely just like get into Popovich's head and feel like we know like what's going on. But I mean, who knows? Maybe he does go to Brooklyn. I just personally,
Maybe he
don't.
runs for president. I'll vote for him.
I mean, it's a little late at this point. I mean,
Yeah.
wait, maybe he'll be Kanye's VP.
Yeah,
Oh God, no.
Kanye Popovich 2020.
the birthday party.
Oh jeez.
So yeah, the series we're going into, the Heat and the Bucks.
all right, resetting the clock.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess I'll start. So this is it's a very interesting series. This is a much tougher matchup, clearly, for the Bucks than the Magic were. Now, when you look at the Heat, they were very impressive last round. I mean, making quick work of the Indiana Pacers. That team is very well coached, and they got a lot of depth, and they're very talented. And you know, they got with Butler and how he played last series, he was really good. Goran Dragic moving into the starting lineup was big. Bam Adebayo. But I think what's
The
going to be
blonde assassin.
yeah, but I think this is interesting because, well, with the Bucks, obviously we know with Giannis, he's going to be the one, you know, he's going to be the one running the show. But what's going to be important for them is that this is the series where Chris Middleton and Eric Bledsoe have to be more consistent. Chris Middleton had an up and down series, and it's going to be imperative for him to play better because the way that he played last series, if he plays like that in this series, this could get interesting. So, you know, he's got to be better. You know, the length and size of the Bucks is always going to be an issue. But for the Heat, they have guys on that team that can defend, and they match up pretty well, I think, with the Bucks, with Iguodala, with Crowder, Adebayo. They got different guys.
Duncan Robinson's
They
good
can-
defensively.
They got different guys that can throw at Giannis. Now, you probably won't be able to stop Giannis. He's going to get his. Honestly, so yeah, that's why I'm talking about Middleton and Bledsoe, because Giannis is going to do his thing, because he's going to dominate. He's going to do what he wants to do. But it's Middleton and Bledsoe. That's what's going to be important. But I see this series is going pretty deep. I don't think it's going 7. I think it's going to go 6 games. Bucks beat them. That's the way I look at it. But the Heat cannot. Nobody should be sleeping on the Heat. I think they could make this a very interesting series. I think they have a legitimate shot at winning it, but I don't.
Say your prediction for you.
Well, I already said it. What was I saying? You weren't
I
listening.
already said it. Here, Seth, I'm gonna jump in real quick because I'm actually kind of passionate about this one. The Heat look really, really good, and I'm saying this one's gonna go 7 games. Like, no shame at all saying that it's gonna go 7 games because the Heat are playing really well. They're playing as a team, and not only are they playing, like, it's just they're a shooting team. They're gonna have like hot nights, like, and they're gonna have cold nights too. So I mean, I foresee them like doing really well against the Bucks, because they have a lot of weapons to throw at them. And it almost seems like the Bucks, like, sometimes, like, if Giannis is not out there, like, sometimes you just don't know who's gonna score the ball, and that's awfully weird for a team that should be doing this well, especially because Chris Middleton didn't do that well last series. I mean, Josiah was right. He has to step up. I'm saying it's the Bucks in 7, but the Heat are gonna make like a really, really good run for it, and people are gonna be scared.
I completely agree with you guys. I have it Bucks in 7 as well. The Heat just looked really good last series in beating the Pacers, and like Josiah said, you need more consistency from someone other than Giannis in order for the Bucks to like be that team to take that next step and be like a legitimate championship team. And I think they will get it enough in order to win this series. But I agree with Brian said, or I think it was Josiah who said that the Heat have a legit shot at the series. I would not be at all surprised if Miami wins this series.
Milwaukee's a very good team, as we know. Giannis, it's going to be hard to stop him. You can limit him and what he can do. And Miami has the guys for that. They have multiple guys who are very good defenders. And you got Iguodala, who's a veteran that has championship mentality and has been very good defensively. You got Jimmy Butler, who's like
Jimmy Heat.
Yeah,
I
like that name. I like that
Jimmy
name.
Heat. Although Jimmy G Buckets is a good one.
Jimmy Heat.
The G stands for gets. But Jimmy Heat's not too bad either.
Nice, Robert. But yeah, I mean, their defense is really good, and also Milwaukee's gonna have to be very alert on their defense because Duncan Robinson he's killing everybody from 3.
He'll be a factor.
He's been a factor, and I think they're gonna have Adebayo a lot of the time against Giannis, and we've seen what Adebayo's done in the past in this season against Giannis because Giannis has struggled against Adebayo before. And he had a very bad shooting night before the pandemic happened and all that. I know that's a very long time ago, and it feels like a second season, as you guys, Brian said. But, he probably got better defensively. And you're going to have Brook Lopez against Jay Crowder. 7-game series, the Heat won.
Oh! You know what?
Let's get crazy.
The way that you were talking about it in the beginning definitely made me feel
Let's get crazy.
Wow,
Let's get crazy.
that's a hot take right there.
Let's get
So
crazy.
okay. Seth, what were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
I was just going to ask Robert. So Robert's standing by, I'm guessing, what you said, your prediction from a couple weeks ago, that whoever wins Raptors Celtics is going to win the East.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Man, I will say this. The one concern I do have with the Bucks,
I'm not giving them 6 games. I'm telling you 7. The Heat win in 7.
Well, but I will say with the Bucks, there are certain times when I watch them play because Giannis does a lot.
They
with
look
that
lost.
team.
They look lost.
I wouldn't say they look lost. I would say they rely sometimes too much on Giannis on offense. They just kind of give him the ball, and then everyone just stands around and lets him do his thing. And you
agree.
can't do that throughout the course of a game.
And also,
you can't. They got away with that against the Magic, but they won't be able to against the Heat. That's why guys like Middleton and Bledsoe will have to step up, and they have to be. The ball's got to be moving. Guys, you can't have Giannis hold the ball and he just creates.
And here's the other
you can have that here and there, but they got to mix it in with ball movement, player movement, because if you try to stick to hero ball does not work. If you stick to it for too long, especially in the playoffs in a half court set, you got to have ball movement. So if the Bucks, if they try to resort too much to giving the ball to Giannis, that could be a problem.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. Bench units have been very important in the entire playoffs, especially in the East. And out of all 4 teams, I think the Bucks are the 4th in that list. I think Miami's bench unit is really good.
I don't know about that, dude. I think the Bucks have a good bench. The thing is, the difference between their bench and a lot of the benches is that they don't have one guy on that bench that is like dominant, like 6 men, but they got a lot of like Hill, DiVincenzo, Williams,
It's like,
you know, all those guys. Like they got a lot of guys who can do a lot of different things, like Connaughton. I mean, if we're looking at benches,
I think they're a bit even. Yeah,
Raptors are number 1 bench, and then
Yeah.
I'd probably say Bucks and Heat are about.
Yeah.
Celtics aren't
Yeah,
that deep.
but
So.
Celtics don't score a lot from the bench. They're defensively, they're one of the best defensive benches.
But that's the Bucks too, and the Bucks move the ball real well with their bench guys. So it's not like they are lost. Like it's not like the Lakers when LeBron and AD come out of the game and they can't score.
Yeah.
It's like the Bucks at least have guys that are
But
willing to move the ball.
I think they're a bit even in that a little bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't. They got a good bench. I think they have a good solid bench there. No. The concern for me is Giannis. They shouldn't put too much on his shoulders.
Yeah. As I said on the Heat, like they can switch players. They're gonna have Jimmy on Middleton sometimes, and you're gonna switch him to Giannis sometimes, and you're gonna double them. That's gonna help because you got Jimmy and Adebayo trying to stop Giannis at the same time.
You get a lineup with Butler, Iguodala, Crowder, Adebayo. You can switch everything.
Man,
and
Goran Dragic. We haven't talked about Goran Dragic.
Well, I did briefly, but he played really well last
like
year.
They're not even playing Chris Nunn anymore that much.
Well, no, they did. Chris Nunn, Kendrick Nunn. Come on, don't disrespect Chi-Town Kendrick Nunn. Okay, he might play in this series. He played a little bit towards the end of last series. Yeah. I hope he gets minutes in the series. But
Goran's been really good.
Yes, he has played extremely well, and I'm really happy for him.
After he almost got traded because he almost got traded out.
Yeah, so he'll definitely be a factor in the series too.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it's hard. It's hard because I feel like the Heat are like heating up, like NBA Jam would say. But it's just it's like it's the truth. I know it's the same, but it's the truth. And I don't know the Bucks. I mean, the Bucks. The truth is like, let's just see like how angry the Bucks are after like being the ones that led the boycott and led the way. Because I feel like they also have something to prove.
Yeah.
By doing that. I feel like as a team and doing that, you might see a different Bucks this series than we did with the Magic.
It's kind of like with the Lakers in the series against the Blazers, you know, when they were celebrating Kobe. They were, because I remember the day that they wore those jerseys, those black jerseys, I thought, oh my God, they're going to be unstoppable today. And they absolutely killed the Blazers. So it's like the Bucks are playing for something here. So that could be very, very intriguing too. So, but it's going to be a fun series. I think Eastern Conference semifinals is going to be way better than the first round in the Eastern Conference. That's for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Agreed. So what's the next, Robert? Oh, look, my timer.
Perfect time.
Wait, so you guys are going to respect me this time for saying that he didn't sub?
I don't think it's stretched.
It's possible. It's not like I'm not going to like. I mean, here's the thing. It's not the first round anymore. So it's not like I'm going to bully you over like picking like the underdog.
Yeah, and the Heat have a shot. This is a season where anything can happen, really.
And
so
the other week, remember when I said like the Celtics needed to make a statement? Well, they made it today.
Well, that was that was the statement.
Yeah.
There was no statement they could have made in their last series. I mean, they did what they needed to do against Sixers. They took care of business. So yeah, today was the statement letting them know, okay, the Raptors, this is going to be a long series for them. This is going to be grueling, and the Celtics are going to be tough to beat. So.
Okay. So later in the week, I'll probably make a video if we got time. Tomorrow we'll make a video about like the other series, so then we can all talk about the other series on that podcast. Moving on, MLB. So the MLB trade deadline is tomorrow. A couple of names already moved. Trevor Rosenthal and Mitch Mullen are going to the Padres. Forgot who else got traded.
Jose Martinez to the Cubs today.
Wow, Jose Martinez to the Cubs.
They need help against lefties.
That's funny. That's funny as hell.
They need help against lefties, and he'll give them that. So
yeah, Jason Castro also moved to the Padres. So there's some big names on the list. Not all of them are probably going to move. Maybe not any of them are going to move. But some of the big names: Francisco Lindor, Josh Hader, Trevor Bauer, Mike Clevenger, all big names that are currently in trade rumors. So the two questions I have. First question. Which is most likely to be moved of all four?
Okay, well, I'm going to start because one of those guys is the possibility of coming to my team. So Mike Clevenger, I think it looks like the fix is in and he's going to be on his way out. Now, what I'm hearing, it has nothing to do with him going out and doing stupid stuff in Chicago. He already is enjoying he's already has enjoyed his time in Chicago, as we know before. But I just think that would be a move that makes sense. Now it's weird because the Indians and the Sox are like they're right there. They're neck and neck for first place. So it's like that would really be an interesting. The thing is with the Indians, and here I'll say this because obviously we just mentioned Lindor. I think with Clevenger, he's more replaceable for the Indians. With Lindor, he's not because they need offense, and Lindor hasn't had a great season. So I think they need to ride it out with him, and they have a shot this year. So, but with Clevenger, it would make sense because they need outfield help right now. And I'm thinking of a deal right now that would make sense. Well, it's not really finished, but like if the Indians were to give up Mike Clevenger and the Sox could give them Adam Engel or some other like good pitcher. I mean, Adam Engel is a fantastic outfielder and his bat's been pretty good this year. And the Sox have plenty of bats in the lineup. And it's like, they can afford to lose a guy like Adam Engel, although outfield wise, we might take a hit, but the Indians need outfielding and the Sox need starting pitching. And Mike Clevenger has been really good the past several years. If the Sox were able to land him, wow. I mean, they're already a team that has a shot to make some noise this year. They get Mike Clevenger to add to that rotation with Giolito.
Congrats on the no-hitter.
Shout out to Lucas getting that no-hitter. That would put them in a prime position to make a run in the AL. So it's like, that's a guy that I think is most likely going to be on the move.
Yeah, the Sox are fun to watch. How about you, Brian? You got anything? It's okay. You know.
I think that the most likely person to move is Clevenger. I just don't think that he's going to go to the Sox. I think he might go to the Padres.
Well, right now, a mystery team in the last hour just under trade rumors to get him and
improved their offer.
Well, here I saw like 2 hours ago that the Padres were a team that they were mentioning.
Well, the mystery team is the Braves right now.
Ooh.
They have a 5 ERA.
Yeah.
But I think that's if the question, which is like what the question is, who's the most likely person to be on the move out of the people that you mentioned, it's him. I would love to see Lindor out of an Indians uniform. I would love to see it. But you know what? The most likely is Clevenger.
Why don't you think Clevenger is going to go to the Sox? I'm curious.
I'm taking the opposite to your opinion, honestly. That's like the main reason. And because Twitter just is telling me a different. It's only because of Twitter. I'm only listening to Twitter right now, Josiah.
It does make sense, though, for the Padres, too, because Chris Paddock has struggled this season, and Dinelson Lamet has been really good. So if they were to get a guy like Clevenger, it'd be a nice 1-2 punch in that rotation because we already know offensively they're pretty good.
Yeah, the Padres are so good offensively that
Slam Diego, I mean, they need some help in the pitching.
So before we continue, and I guess this is in the moment that it just happened, and it's funny as hell. So Joe Sherman from the New York Post tweeted out, as a way to gain leverage, Indians have told interested clubs they're in first place, love Clevenger's talent, have 2 more years of control on him, and are built on starting pitching. Yet every exec I talked to offers some version of they are trading Clevenger.
I mean, yeah.
We're going through this right now, and I just think it's funny that I just threw it out.
It's just inevitable, I think. Yeah, I think it really is. Because they have plenty of Zach, Shane Bieber,
Tristan McKenzie,
Carlos Carrasco.
Tristan McKenzie.
I mean, that team, they're starting pitching. They need more offense.
They know how to build pitchers.
They need hitting. They need guys that can drive in runs. They don't have enough of that. Their pitching will keep them in games. They need somebody in that lineup that can give them just a jolt offensively. So,
how about you, Seth?
Yeah, I mean, Clevenger is the obvious answer here. A couple of shout-outs. First, shout-out to Robert, because when we were talking in the group chat earlier, and he shared that the original rumor about Clevenger going to the Sox, and I said, well, I kind of made that point that he knew was Chicago, and Robert said about as much to do in Chicago as there is in Cleveland. So shout out to you for making Cleveland and Chicago on the same level as cities. But also shout out to fake Ken Rosenthal, who fooled me a couple hours ago. The reason I thought a deal was done with the Padres. It almost looked like a blue check mark. They had a big blue check mark there. And and it actually caught me for about 30 seconds. But no, it's obvious. I think at this point, Clevenger staying with the Indians would be like the super shocking. It'd be like the draft day ending. Like, oh my God, wow.
With the quarterback that they have.
Yeah. It's like, oh my God, nobody saw this coming. This was all just some mad plan by the executive. But yeah, no, it's been interesting to watch this go through the night, where we've heard about the Sox, we've heard about the Padres. I was not aware that the mystery team was the Braves, but yeah, he's going to be out of there, and we need offense. We need bats, like Josiah was saying. One interesting thing that I found out earlier today, and I was talking to you guys about it, was that our three teams, the Dodgers, the Indians, and the White Sox, are the three teams that have the best run differential in all of baseball. Dodgers, number one.
Did he freeze?
Uh-oh. Oh, man. You hate to see it.
Unfortunately, the Sox just pulled ahead of the Indians today. Yeah, and then the Indians have third. But we have what? Am I still there?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
yeah. Keep on going. Just keep on going.
Cool. But yeah. So the only team that gave up less runs so far than the Indians are the Cardinals, and that's because they've played like a dozen less games. So yeah, we have the three best win differentials in all of baseball, which I find interesting. But yeah, we need bats. We need bats badly, and that's why Clevenger's going to be out of there.
Am I still there?
Oh, my God. All right. What
What was going on there?
you froze.
Like,
You froze for a second.
For like
okay.
10 Yeah.
All right, Robert, what do you got?
I mean, it's inevitable to say that like Mike Clevenger is not going to beat the dude. But of the teams, I would say the Braves. They need it the most right now. The Padres could be the team, but they just made 3 trades today, and if they make 4, I think they'll just be giving a lot of prospects already, and they'll be giving up. But they're also okay because I think they have a top 5 farm system. But one of the things is, since I know about prospects, they have this kid named Mackenzie Gore, who's a pitcher, and I think he's really good. And I know they're good at developing some pitchers because some pitchers have been good, like Chris Paddock that came out last year. And I don't think they should trade Mackenzie Gore. So, and I think they'll ask for more than Mackenzie Gore. So I think the Braves is going to be a team because the Braves have enough depth on their farm system to do it. But I was also going to mention Josh Hader. I think Josh Hader's a guy who is going to be employed like Andrew Miller was a couple years ago with the Indians, and he's done it before in the playoffs. Like he's a guy who's going to give you 3 innings out of the bullpen, 2 innings. And man, I think
Really, the next Andrew Miller.
I don't know what contender is going to get him, but I hope it's the Dodgers.
Really, you say that he's the next Andrew Miller?
No, well, what he did with the Indians that year, remember? Like,
Yeah. I remember. I think everyone should remember Andrew Miller because that, like, what he did was special.
Yeah,
He was on
I mean,
hit.
he sucked after that, but yeah, he was good in there.
But that run. I mean, you don't even know what he was. What was he? Was he a setup pitcher? What was he?
He just came in when guys like, let's say a guy ended in 4 innings and they just put him for like 3 innings and then they didn't pitch him for like 2 days.
You just couldn't hit off of that.
Yeah.
It wasn't just him. It was that whole bullpen.
Yeah.
Looking Cody
Yeah.
Allen and that whole
Wow, Cody Allen. Where's Cody Allen now?
I don't know. But they were unstoppable. But yeah, the Josh Hader one is good because the Brewers are not really going anywhere. They've been pretty mediocre this season. They've lost a lot.
And, yeah.
So I think they're definitely looking to
And
sell.
right now the Reds look good. I mean, they lost the series against the Cubs, but they're getting better. I think.
They've been still.
Yeah, I think the Cubs and the Reds are going to win that division.
Cubs and the Reds are going to both win the division.
No.
Huh?
They're going to get to the place in the division.
Okay, so then who do you think is going to win the division?
Cubs.
Okay.
They still suck, but yeah. Yeah. So, as I said, Josh Hader, probably a contender. I wish he goes to the Dodgers. Least likely to move out of all those 4.
I think it's an easy one.
Lindor, right?
No, I think it's Trevor Bauer. I don't think Trevor Bauer is going anywhere. I mean, I
move
hear,
right now.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't think he's going anywhere.
I don't think he's going
I-
anywhere. I,
I-
don't think
I haven't
Trevor Bauer's going.
haven't really heard any rumblings to which he's going to be on his way out. In fact, I thought I heard a few days ago the Reds were pretty much committing to him, and they're going to ride it out and see how this goes. Like, yeah, okay, they've been pretty disappointing because I expected them to be the best team in the division, and they haven't been. Their offense has been kind of struggling, and their bullpen has been pretty bad, but their starting pitching is still pretty good. Trevor Bauer's had an amazing season, and Sonny Gray's been really good. So it's like, I think there's still a lot of season left. I mean, they're not completely out of the race in that division. All it takes is just a good winning streak for them, and they could be on pace to I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't go out and say they'll win the division, but they can still make the playoffs. So, and I think the talent is still there. I think they're willing to let Trevor Bauer because he really has been so dominant for them, and I feel like they're gonna let this go, and they're gonna see what they can get out of the season, because I don't think they need to give up on him now and just let him go, because I feel like because their pitching's good, and at least their starting pitching has been. So I think they're gonna stick with him.
Yeah.
Trevor Bauer just can't escape Ohio, huh? Sad.
Yeah, no, I can't get out of there.
I mean, 3 out of those players, 3 out of 4 players either played for the Indians or played for the Indians.
Yeah, no, I noticed you would be very Ohio heavy, which I like. I appreciate that.
Get out of here.
What do you think, though?
See, I mean,
Oh God.
if we're still talking about like who's the most likely to like not be traded, then it'd be Lindor. But for Bauer, I mean, yeah, it sounds like he's gonna be staying a Cincinnati Red, which is good. The Cincinnati Red, I'll tell you, will be making an appearance a little later on in the show, in the broadcast. But yeah, no, I would say both of them are going to be lucky enough to spend some more time in Ohio.
Yeah, I'll say either Lindor or Bauer. Most likely Lindor. It doesn't make sense to me right now for Lindor to be traded, especially when they're trying to win. Yeah, they can try and win this year. And the thing is, we're saying Mike Clevenger, but they have pitching depth. That's the thing. And there's not many shortstops like Francisco Lindor. And
Why do
yes,
they
he
want
might
to
have.
move? Is this Lindor's last year of contract?
The problem with Lindor is money wise. They don't.
But I know they don't want to re-sign him. But this is not his last year of contract, is he?
No. He's still,
Exactly. Then you still have one more. You still have one more year to move him.
He has a year left of arbitration. Here's the thing. It just doesn't sound like a trade deadline deal. It sounds like a winter move deal if he gets traded at all. This is not like a Manny Machado type trade where anybody needs a position player that big to make a move like that.
Yeah, they've had a really good season, so
yeah.
Why not?
It's not going to be like Manny Machado going to Dodgers. Nobody's is going to make that big of a splash right now.
It's not like they're
the fan base would hate them. The fan base would be absolutely irate at this point.
Yeah, the fan base. I bet some fans will even quit on the team.
Given how good the season's been, and given like if we're not willing to spend money, then like when you have a good team, you got to take advantage.
And honestly, the offense has gotten better the last week and a half, right? You've seen the games with me. I've seen their scores, and they've gotten better.
Yeah.
They still need that bat. They still need that bat. I don't know where they're gonna get the bat, but
All right, so I think we should move on to the next topic because timer has been past due.
Wow. Okay. So 2 MLB topics left. Let's go through them pretty quick. We can go through this in the next 10 minutes. So, the team that has surprised you the most there's one month left in the season. What team has surprised you the most?
Okay. Well, to be honest, like most of the teams that I've played well this year, I kind of expected.
Say one team.
But there is one. I'm gonna say one team because I have to. It's actually not the White Sox. I thought the White Sox would be good this year, so I'm actually not that surprised. It's the Oakland A's right now. I mean, they're leading in their division right now, ahead of the Astros. That team is raking right now. I mean, with Matt Chapman, Matt Olson, Marcus Semien, Stephen Piscotty's played pretty well for them. Spaghetti, I like to call him. And I like that team, and they've had playoff experience in the past now. And their bullpen has been really good so far this season. Liam Hendricks, Joaquin Soria. This team they're pretty well constructed. So I think my one concern is their starting pitching hasn't been great. I mean, Chris Bassett, Jesus Luzardo is an exciting young prospect who's been pretty good this year, but
he's going to be
the starting pitching is iffy. So that could be an issue for them. But offensively, man, this team is killing the ball. And it seems like every time Matt Olson hits the ball, it's a home run. And Matt Chapman is always been an elite third baseman in baseball. So I think he's really done it. He's really been playing well, and he's leading that team. So that team right now is a team that should not be slept on in the AL. I think they actually have a legitimate shot to make some noise as well. And I expect them, honestly, to win that division. I mean, the Astros could definitely make some noise and try to get back into it, and they've been all right. They could definitely give the A's a run for their money, but I like them in that division right now. I really do. So I've been very impressed with how they've played, and they look legit to me.
You can say you're disappointing team right now, so we can all go.
Okay, well, I already kind of mentioned the team that disappointed me, and that was the Cincinnati Reds.
Okay,
because I really did expect them to be the best team in the NL Central. I really did, because of all the players, the additions they made. You know, getting Mike Moustakas was huge. Nick Castellanos has been so good. He went on that absolute tear to start the season. But offensively, like I said, they've been kind of struggling. Although Jesse Winker has been fantastic for them at the plate. He's batting over 300 right now. So he's been really impressive. And as I said before, I like their starting pitching with Sonny Gray, Trevor Bauer, Luis Castillo. That's a good rotation right there. But it's just like I expected more. Now, like I said, there's a lot of season left, and we could very well see the Reds, get on some kind of winning streak and make it interesting. So I'm not ready to give up on them yet. But I got to say, I was expecting them to be in a better position than where they're at right now.
How about you, Brian?
I'm in I don't know who to pick here. I think Tampa.
Yeah.
I didn't expect them to be in first place. Especially with how the Yankees were playing so well, and all of a sudden they had a huge losing streak the last couple of games.
The Rays have 11 players in the IL right now, and
that's
first.
That's the other reason why I'm going with Tampa, because it's they have they've been doing this without Austin Meadows, and they've been doing this with a bunch of other key players out. And it seems like it's a group effort. It's not it just doesn't seem like one guy. The last couple of games, all of a sudden there's Joey Wendell leads off with a home run, then Yoshi Tsungo hits a 2-run home run. It's a huge group effort over here in this Tampa Bay club, and I don't know, they're making noise in a team in a division that you would expect the Yankees to be taking it. But yeah, honorable mention the Cubs. Because I always feel like I should always mention the Cubs when they do well.
Okay, most disappointing team?
Most disappointing team? The Red Sox. What do you want me to say? But I mean,
really? I thought they were gonna suck.
Yeah,
I think everyone expected them to suck, but I think everyone expected them to suck. I think here's the truth, and here's how I feel about the Red Sox. But I feel like I should mention them before I almost feel like they're losing on purpose just so they have an excuse to rehire Cora. Maybe.
I mean, they can still do it though.
What?
Still do it.
I don't know if they'll do it, but I mean, it's possible. It seems but I don't know. It's just it feels so disappointing. The season just seems so horrible and ugly that it's I don't know. Seth, you want to go?
Yeah, I'll just say I think that deserves an award. That's I think the best conspiracy theory in the history of sports was an accident. I don't know if we've had another one, but that's a pretty good one right there. So yeah, you guys have of course mentioned a couple of worthy candidates for surprising team. I'm actually going to go with the team with a losing record, and a team that not only was it before the season they were expected to be bad, but the way the season started, you were like, oh God, this is going to be awful. And Robert might know where I'm going with this one. Yeah, I'll go with the Miami Marlins because they won 54 games last year, and they won 54 games, and then 3 days into the season, go on COVID quarantine. They don't even get all their players back. They have to basically feel like a mix between a major league and a AAA roster. And now they're sitting here halfway through the season playing these doubleheaders, and they're basically at 500. And with the 16-team playoff format, they can legit make the playoffs. Like even like before the season, before the whole COVID thing happened with them, people probably wouldn't have thought that the Marlins would be in contention for a playoff spot halfway through the year. But they're there, and I got to give them props for that to get to get through it.
I'm glad you're giving them props at least.
Just try everything you possibly can to get the Marlins in here. But you know what? I do like that because, you know, I really didn't expect them to do anything. The fact that they're even around 500 with all the revolving door in that roster with the games that they had to miss earlier, I mean, that's
because people
a
were
good
talking
point.
about, like, this was a team that won a third of their games last year, and then they lost so many of their major league players for it. Like, they were saying, well, this is going to be a AAA team, basically. So to be this competitive, they've fallen off as of late, which is very disappointing to me. A longtime Marlins fan.
Oh my God.
But
Here's the thing: does this prove that Don Mattingly is a good coach?
Oh,
Because I don't think that he's a good coach. I never thought he was.
dude,
Manager,
he's
not coach.
he's the winningest coach in Marlins history.
manager.
It's the most surprising thing ever.
It's a manager, not
that is crazy, though. Because nobody stays there more than 2 years. Shout out to the one dude, though, who has a winningest win percentage wise, has a 1-0 record with the Marlins. We were looking this up a few weeks ago. There's one dude who's managed one game and is 1-0. So shout out to Mr. 1-0. I can't remember his name. But anyway, going with most disappointing team, I gotta join with Josiah. I gotta go with my home state club, my NL team, the Cincinnati Reds. It's one of those things like being here with the Reds, like over the course of many years, people don't tend to get very optimistic because every time you get optimistic, something like this happens. But yeah, their offense just isn't there enough for them to be the team that people thought they were going to be. The bullpen has
Bullpen's
surrendered
just
way too
awful.
many games. They have time to turn it around. Yeah, and they have time to turn it around because you have that 16-team playoff format. They're only 15-19. What happened there? What happened?
Sorry.
You froze, but just keep on going. It was
Okay.
working.
Okay, yeah, no, that's basically it. Yeah, I'm gonna try not to freeze again. But yeah, I love the laugh.
Is it my turn?
I was giving you a recovery. Yeah, go ahead, Robert.
Actually, I'm gonna do the same thing I said, and I'm gonna pick. What are you doing? I'm gonna pick a team that has a losing record.
Good night, everybody.
Surprising team. And as a hater as I am of them, the San Francisco Giants to serve that spot. Dude, this is a team this is a team that was picked to go last. I remember listening to a podcast from the Dodgers broadcasters, and they give a word for like each team, like one certain word for like each team at NL West. And it was pretty bad, the word they used for like the Giants. And the Giants had been really good offensively. Their pitching's been okay, but their offense has been good. They have an MVP candidate in Mike Yastrzemski. We were talking about this the other day.
He's not an MVP candidate.
He's an MVP
but
candidate.
he's good.
He's an MVP candidate right now. Yes, he is. You can look up the standings as an MVP.
I don't care what. I don't think he's
Yes.
MVP.
He's
He's
a-
been really good, but the Giants still aren't
I
that
think,
good. So
honestly, they right now they'd be second. They'd be second in the AL West. My bad. In the NL East.
with 17 and 19,
It's still better than a lot of teams.
I don't know, man.
Red.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I
My
expected
bad.
them to be.
Third, but like, yeah.
I expected them to be pretty bad. And yeah, they've been competitive, but it's just like it hasn't been like as like impactful as a team like the A's or a team
the
like
Rays.
the
Mhm.
or the Rays. Honestly, I actually expected this from the Rays. I'm actually not surprised at all.
I'm ready.
I'm
This is a
surprised with
team
the
I-
injuries.
I had them coming out of the AL from the beginning of the season. I still think they.
And
will.
here's my disappointing team now. The Minnesota Twins. The Minnesota Twins were expected to be the front leader in that division. And they have lost the last 5 in their They were like they're 4-6 in the last 10 games. Their pitching has been mediocre to the moment. Their offense was supposed to be their biggest weapon. They've been okay. I want to say they've been great, like people expected. Josh Donaldson is still injured, and right now the White Sox and the Indians are just. It just feels like they're going to win the division.
I don't know.
One of those two teams.
I'm not counting out the Twins at all here, though.
Yeah,
They
the
still-
Twins
I'm
can
not
still make a
counting them
run.
out. I'm not counting them out. I'm just saying they disappointed me.
Maybe a little bit, but like I expect them to be in the mix in this division. I didn't like. Yeah, I would say coming into the season, I thought they were the best team. They started off pretty well, so I mean I get that, but they're still 20-15. They still have a shot at winning the division. So I don't know.
I disappointed me a bit.
It's interesting with a shortened season how it like affects like how and also like the like more team playoff how like now it affects like what teams are trading and which ones aren't.
Well, it's interesting. Like if we did this last year, like at the end of 60 games, let's say we had a 60-game season last year, you know who would have been the most disappointing team? Probably the Washington Nationals. They would have been up there.
Yeah. I'm also surprised at how bad the Angels have been. They've been pretty bad.
I'm not.
That's what I said.
They're the
That's what I
Angels.
said
Why
like
did
a couple podcasts ago and I got bullied for it.
Yeah, wait a sec. I thought you were one of the guys that gave Brian crap for saying that.
Yeah,
Come
but
on,
I didn't think I don't think they were going to be 12 and 23 right now. I knew they were going to be bad. I didn't think they would even be this bad. They're like the other worst team besides them is the Pittsburgh Pirates, and that was expected.
I mean, they're the Angels. They're the Angels. Honestly, because they've been so like stuck in neutral for so
They
long.
have no pitching.
They were due
whatsoever.
for something. They were due for something. Like honestly, they deserve to be this bad because
Yeah.
they have made no adjustents to try to further that team.
Should they just blow it up?
Yes, I think they should absolutely do
Yeah,
that.
and what?
And give
and then am I going to win the conversation of Mike Trout being the most
wasted time. No.
wasted time? Yeah,
I still
well, yeah,
wouldn't say
because
so.
he's
Most
still not going to
fish
get.
sounding name? Yes.
And he has.
Well,
and he has a
it
12
would be him or AJ Pollock. One of those.
Most what? Fish sounding name?
Pollock is also a fish, so I
Oh
mean,
my God.
You mean potluck? Yeah.
Pollock.
Potluck.
Pollock is a fish.
Again, that's a
Never had
different
Pollock
conversation
listen.
about the wasted talent thing. I don't use that term. But I think, yeah, break that team up, put Mike Trout, Joe Adell, build the team around those guys. And like I mean, they're just nowhere.
I mean,
They
here's
are
the thing.
nowhere.
Like I think that for success in baseball, you have to have somewhat of a farm system and somewhat of like a
They're like 29th.
exactly. That's why I'm saying that they're doomed. Like there's like nothing they
They
can
don't
really
know how to
do.
draft, which is pretty
I mean,
bad.
all they have is Joe Adell, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's their farm.
and
system.
Griffin Canning, who's already in the major leagues.
I honestly think that they should honestly just like use Mike Trout as leverage and trade him away to like see if they can make a team out of it.
I honestly was kind of thinking about that too. I mean, he's been with this team for so long, and they've had one playoff appearance. It's like maybe you do let Trout go and just start over.
Yeah.
I think you really need to do that. I mean,
Dude, you can make such a good package for Trout and get like probably the top prospects like in any like top team.
By the way,
And I see the Yankees doing it.
another team in the Mike Clevenger discussions is the Buffalo Blue Jays.
Okay.
For
That
the
would be
wagon, man.
interesting because they've been pretty good this year. In fact, you know what?
And
That's
Bobichet's
a
injured
team
right
that-
now, and he's going to take a while, and they've still been playing pretty good without
That's a
him.
team that also should be mentioned that has been
Yeah.
surprisingly good this year with that young nucleus of talent.
Third in the East.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Oscar Hernandez. I mean, they're a pretty good team.
Okay, so let's move on to the NFL. So first thing on the NFL, we're actually going to talk about the social injustice situation, but not specifically like of all the leagues, just like the NFL, what they will do like when the season begins. So what do you guys think they will do? Like if some players were sit out, or like
Well, we already have heard like players have talked about like sitting. I think Saquon Barkley was one of them that like said that he would sit out a game this season. There might have been somebody else in the Giants. I might have it wrong, but
Russell Wilson said something.
you're going to see players do that throughout the course of the season to make statements and stuff. We're going to be seeing kneeling during the national anthem. We know that's going to happen. We're going to be seeing, I think what the NFL should do, who knows if they'll do it. I mean, do what they did with the NBA, like try to like find a way to get Black Lives Matter on the field or endorse it more, because they don't do that enough, clearly. And like Seth said earlier about Roger Goodell, how he's done nothing with the Kaepernick thing. And everyone knows he needs to address that. He won't, I don't think. But it's like you need to see more support for that and them putting more of a foot forward. And I don't really have like a specific like thing that they'll do. I just think what the NFL needs to do is be like the NBA and just really just bring more and more attention and start to really hammer this down. And like that way more people that watch the sport can see that, because this is another league with predominantly Black players. So it's like, you know, I think they really got to get that point across. And it's really interesting to see what the NFL will do with that, because obviously they haven't addressed the Kaepernick thing, but we'll see like how that turns out. I just think in general, just need to put their foot forward more and be more proactive with this movement and continue to show people and continue to, you know, keep the attention towards that. And, you know, while sports can be a distraction, we don't want that to be a distraction. We want it to also have the players playing, but also bring attention to everything that's going on. So I think they just got to do, it's not going to be one thing. It's going to be a lot of different things. Cause you know, I said before, I said on the special edition about how they're already addressing, you know, giving minorities more opportunities in front offices and, you know, coaching and GM, stuff like that. So we'll see that. And they could, you know, make even more of a change with that. So yeah, I think it's just a lot of different things are going to go into this, but they're going to have to really, really, really hammer this, I think.
I think that I think the first thing they have to address is the Kaepernick issue. Like, I think that like they have to do something. Either a team has to sign him, or the NFL should sign him. It should like hire him in a special ambassador position to racial something, that like he leads the charge within the NFL for this. And then maybe they can fix it, but they have to address it. Like, I feel like it has to be addressed somehow. And I feel like Colin Kaepernick has to be part of the conversation for it all to work out. Because if you don't coincide both sides, there's going to be like a problem or no unity, or like, but who knows? The NFL, like this happens all the time. It's tough. It's tough to predict, because like the world is tough to predict nowadays. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen next week right now, because like last week surprised me. So it's like, I don't know, but the NFL, like, hopefully it does the right thing, but it has to address Kaepernick first. And then we can move on to like talking about like all this like the season and people boycotting games or anything. And I'm sure that people are going to boycott games, because I if history has shown, this event or something like this probably will happen again. God willing, it doesn't, but it might, and it will cost work stoppages in terms of all sports, at least this season for sure, if it does happen again. So, like, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but they have to address Kaepernick first. And I would hire him in a special ambassador position or whatever to address the racial issue or whatever. Like, just make a position for him in the NFL.
Yeah, no, I think this could end up being a real mess. The reason that the NBA thing worked out for everyone was because you have a foundation there of trust between Adam Silver and the players, that they can talk things out and basically say like, okay, here's what we want. Here's what the players want. And Adam Silver can talk to them and say, okay, I'm on your side. As we've talked about before.
Oh my God, he actually
really in the commissioner's office.
Wait for it.
Seth, get off your iPhone 3, buddy. Come on, man.
And I'm going to take Brian's advice and I'm going to keep going. If you guys remember, yeah. but yeah, no, I'll continue. I'll continue talking. Between getting frozen, I'll talk about racial injustice. But yeah, so I don't think with everything going on with like you said, they still haven't mentioned Kaepernick. And at this point, if they haven't yet, we saw Roger Goodell kind of get shamed into making that statement, and the NFL gets shamed into contributing all that money for social justice. But they haven't really done a whole lot, and I think they're going to be behind the 8 ball again, just like they were with Kaepernick, just like they've been over the last 4 years. Adam Silver can lead the NBA kind of in a progressive way, talk to his players, and work something out. The NFL doesn't have that, so I think it could be a mess. The other reason is the NBA is a lot more there's a foundation of trust there between the commissioner and the players, but there's also, I think, a lot more continuity between the players. Just because you have so few players in the NBA compared to the NFL, and they tend to have longer careers. They tend to all know each other. I mean, in the NFL, you got well over 1,000 players who don't know each other all that well. Average career lasts like 3 or 4 years. You have Tom Brady versus some offensive linemen. They have very, very different life perspectives and very, very different goals in terms of making money. If you're an offensive lineman, I could understand why you'd be like, no, I don't want to do anything. I mean, I'm making minimum salary, and I've probably got 2 years of this left. I want to make sure I can maximize my earning potential, because after this, I don't know what I'm going to do. So I don't know if you're going to get the united front from the players in the NFL that you got
in the NBA.
Out of the NBA, just because
It's insane.
It's because the players are just so unified in the NBA, and like you just don't know what's gonna happen in the NFL.
have more diversity. Yeah, in terms of careers in the NFL, I like the idea of Brian just being my translator. So we're just gonna go with that on the podcast from now on. I'm just gonna write things into the chat, and Brian's gonna say them.
You can't even look it up.
It's just literally you get frozen, and all of a sudden I'm just like trying to predict what you're gonna say.
You're getting most of it. You're getting like 80% of it.
I know because I have a feeling.
Yeah, you're getting it. But yeah, basically NBA unified, NFL
Not unified.
not as unified. Sad face.
But yeah, Robert, you have anything to say?
Before I say that,
Freeze.
Robert, unfreeze.
Okay, so as I was gonna say before I go to the NFL, the Padres just made a stupid trade where they just traded their fifth best prospect for a backup 30-year-old catcher. I do not understand that at all.
Interesting.
But moving on, AJ Player is crazy as hell. Moving on, as you guys said, yeah, the players are definitely going to make statements. I hope they do with the Black Lives Matter movement. I don't know if players will sit games, but I think there's going to be like more of an importance of like what it was before. I think the Kaepernick stuff is definitely going to be discussed in the next couple of weeks. And I mean, yeah, it's going to be a bigger issue across the league than it was 4 years ago when Kaepernick did it, I believe.
100% agree.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you expect? Do you expect 100% of the league to kneel? It's not going to happen. It's not going to be 100% of the league.
Oh, not Nick Bosa.
Well,
We all know about Nick Bosa.
No, we know enough about Nick Bosa.
How about Joey Bosa?
I mean, the
Is
whole
Joey is Joey like him?
I mean,
weren't they raised in the same household?
Yeah, maybe.
yeah. I mean, love what they did for the Buckeyes, but
What about Drew Brees?
that was
I'm
Actually,
expecting
no,
Drew
I
Brees to
actually think
kneel.
Drew Brees
We could have like a whole debate
Actually,
whether Drew Brees is
I
gonna
think
kneel
Drew
or not.
Brees actually, well, he might not kneel, but
I
I
think
think he
he'll
learned.
kneel.
I
I
think
think he'll
learned.
kneel. I think it's too much pressure.
Thing is, if he doesn't, I'm not saying he should. If he doesn't, there's gonna be backlash.
Yeah,
I mean,
Exactly.
What
yeah.
happens? So,
But I think he actually learned from like everything he said
I
and like
hope he
what he
did.
was talking about.
I hope he did, because if he didn't, then
Oh, that was a possible position where he doesn't kneel just because he respects other people's right to, but that's just not.
He just doesn't kneel.
He's respecting the
He
flag
doesn't-
by not kneeling. So I mean,
Maybe he doesn't
God.
kneel because those knees are just too old. Those knees are just too old to kneel. He can't. He can't do it.
If he kneels, then he'll just freeze. I mean,
Oh
you
my
know.
god.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Brian, I feel like Seth has Claro as his Wi-Fi in Dayton.
Jeez, yeah. What's your
I have
carrier
what?
set? Is it T-Mobile? What is it? What are we looking at? Verizon?
So shout out to Spectrum. Free advertisement.
Spectrum.
There.
Great cable company.
It
That
feels
explains it.
it feels like Claro. If you guys don't know what that is a
I think
brand.
he,
in
no,
Latin
I
America.
think he has CenturyLink. I think he might have CenturyLink.
Yeah, my CenturyLink is actually our
Doesn't
CenturyLink
exist
works pretty
in
well.
Ohio.
Yeah,
CenturyLink's in like Missouri and like Washington. It's not in Ohio.
sucks.
It's not
Um,
good.
Yeah, so
I think we
let's
can move on to next topic.
Yeah, last topic before the last topic. That's funny as hell. Yeah.
Second to last,
Second to last. Yeah. Vikings trade for. I'm just gonna give it to
Yannick Ngakoue. You're saying.
thoughts on trade, and does this make them better than the Packers?
Okay, well, let me start off by saying that the NFC North is very interesting to me. Because
Chicago
now I
Bears are
look
gonna
at
win
them, I actually am not saying that. Because the last time I said that, they disappointed me. So I'm not going to say that. But I will say this. I think talent-wise, they're better than any the other teams. But now with the Vikings, you get Yannick Ngakoue, and that's a team that lost Stephon Diggs in the offseason, which is a big loss. And Everson Griffin. That's right. But you get Ngakoue. That's an upgrade over Everson Griffin because Ngakoue is only getting better. And then you got Daniil Hunter on the other side. Oh, good luck to offensive linemen. I mean, that defense still looks pretty good. I mean, they draft Jeff Gladney in the first round, so they're pretty stacked there. It's really the offense is where I'm kind of concerned with them because you
Justin Jefferson.
Well, no, he was a second round pick.
No, it's just in his first round.
Wasn't Justin Jefferson second round?
No, he was
I
first
thought.
round.
I'm pretty
Because
sure
the Packers
he was
wanted to drafted him, and that's why they drafted Jordan Love.
I'm pretty okay, whatever. But they drafted both those guys. The thing is, Diggs losing him could really set that offense back a little bit. I think the pressure's more on Cook now and Thielen to step up, and they might need Jefferson to produce right away. But no, I wouldn't. The defensive line is really good now. But
Robert, first round. Jefferson, first round, pick 22nd.
So then where was Gladney picked? Was it second round?
Yes.
Hold on. Let me just real quickly but as I was saying, like, I wouldn't put them over the Packers right now because the Packers still have Aaron Rodgers, and that defense is really good. But I am concerned about that team a little bit. Okay, well, Jeff Gladney was first round too. So they were both first round.
Like
so I was
29th?
half right. He was 31st. So I'm not ready to put them over the Packers yet because that offense is a little concerning to me. But like the Packers have some holes on offense too because they never addressed the receiving core. They got Devontae Adams, Alan Lazard's promising, but outside of that, a lot of question marks. And you lose Jimmy Graham, although he was just really a good red zone target. He didn't really do much for that offense anyway. I think that's kind of an interesting situation. And I think that's why I think the Packers and the Vikings, the Vikings will be, I think the Packers right now, I would say they're the head, I can't even speak. They are the favorites, I think, to win the division right now because, last year they did. It's just that it's not as sure as it was last year because the Vikings are still in it. And I think the Bears, talent-wise, stack up with everybody in that division. And
Exactly.
so, in my opinion, their talent is better than anyone. It's just the problem is the quarterback position is just we don't know yet. So that's really what it comes down to. But if it works out, I think the Bears can definitely win that division. So that division is very interesting to me. But no, I'm not ready to put the Vikings ahead of the Packers. But that defensive line definitely is going to be causing some problems this year. So with Ngakoue and Hunter. So
that division is going to be up for grabs. There's like there's no top dog, and you could even say the Lions could even surprise people. Like that's the truth. Oh, come on, don't say.
They're the Lions.
They can.
They're the Lions.
Hey,
If
come
that's-
on, you can't.
Stafford didn't look bad last year until he got injured.
Yeah, he played.
Yeah, and it's not like okay, fine. Some people hate on Matt Patricia, but he's like from Belichick's like coaching tree. I'd expect them to make a big jump this year, and like it's possible. If they don't, then they have to abandon the Stafford project.
They're
But
the Lions.
this is about the Vikings and the Packers. It's hard to pick between both of them because, for example, the Packers had a really great defense last year for the first time, but only like for the like beginning of the year. But in the playoffs, they like fucking stunk. Let's just be the truth. Like it's a toss up. That division's a toss up, and I really like the Bears. And I'm gonna be really honest. I really like the Bears. The defense, Khalil Mack, and just like they have Nick Foles now. So like if like Trubisky like kind of falters, like you have Nick Foles right there. And like their big problem has been Nick Foles. They have a creative offensive coach. And that's a team that would scare me in that division. That's a team that scares me in that division. I'm not that scared of the Packers. I'm not that scared of the Vikings, especially the Vikings. I don't know. It's just I don't trust Kirk Cousins. Is that awful? I don't know.
I honestly have said the same thing for years. Although
Like-
last year he proved that he could win a game against the Saints in overtime, but still, is he the guy that can help lead you to a Super Bowl? No, I just don't. I don't see it. He's really good in the regular season, but when the playoffs come around, he still has his woes. It's just like I don't know if I can trust that guy. I like him, but I don't know if I can trust him in the big game. I don't know.
So that's why, like, I really am gonna go with the Bears. I'm gonna go. Wait, their coach is Matt Nagy, right?
Yes.
I was trying to figure out his name in my head the whole entire time I was talking. I just want to mention Matt Nagy.
How could you forget Matt Nagy's name? His name was all
Well,
over
he
the
is
place
Matt
last
Nagy.
year for the wrong reasons.
I know, but
last
yeah,
year.
fine. I know that his name was all over, but it was like, oh God, what was it? Anyway, Seth, go ahead.
I would still have the Packers.
I mean, the Packers they got Aaron Rodgers. They got a good defense. They've got Aaron Jones,
saw
so
the
they're still pretty
Packers
reliable. They
and
win the
Vision. You saw what they did last because Robert's happy, or because I'm freezing. It might be both. So yes, Josiah is so excited that I'm frozen. He's so
What is going
excited
on?
that I picked the Packers.
What? Yeah, that's what you get for picking the Packers. Freeze. I think he froze again.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna do the Frozen challenge.
Robert is frozen. Okay, so you picked the Packers because
Yeah, because that defense still played pretty well a lot of the year. It was a 13-win team. I like how Josiah is moving, but and see, he can't keep it. He can't keep it at a certain point.
Hey, I did like 30 seconds of that. I can do more.
Okay, congratulations. But yeah, Josiah is gonna get at him. But yeah, no, it's just I don't trust any quarterback in that division, even Nick Foles.
Nick
Near as much as I
Foles, who won a championship.
Still don't trust.
Mitchell
Zero
Trubisky.
trust with
So yeah, Packers in 7.
since 7. That was great
Oh.
into that segment. Robert,
I mean, is it biased that I picked the Packers here?
Yes. No, it's not.
not
it's not.
bias. I don't think
Okay.
it's bias. It's a
tell you
choice.
Okay. They made it. I think they're going to have a little slight upgrade on offense. I think it's going to be okay. I think I'm talking about the Packers now. Their defense, it got better for me. Christian Kirksey is going to be a good player for them. I think he's a better versatile linebacker than Blake Martinez. But for the Vikings, I think they get better, as we all said. Yannick
Ngakoue.
that guy. Yeah, I mean, he probably was the best for the last 5 years. He was the best defensive player for them, right? I would say best
For the
defensive,
Jaguars,
second best defensive player.
Well, Calais Campbell.
Calais Campbell. Yeah.
But Ngakoue was one of
Yeah.
the best pass rushers.
I mean, they've always been pretty good defensive, defensive unit they had, the Vikings have, and they're just adding a very good player to their defense. Now the offense, you can't. There's always times where like rookie wide receiver rookies have a good season, then they're bad their sophomore year, or they're bad their first year. So I can't really tell what their offense right now where it is and how it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the more that I think about the Vikings, the more it just feels more like it's going to be Bears.
They're just gonna have one guy, two guys to rely on, and that's gonna be Dalvin Cook and Adam Thielen, and then the other guys are just gonna be.
Honestly, this type of season for them, the way they're constructed now with Diggs gone, they might have to resort to just run the ball and play defense.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like the Packers. Kind of like the Packers.
Without Diggs, you don't have that guy that can take the top off the defense. Got Adam Thielen, but then after that, Justin Jefferson, but then no one else. So it's like,
but that's
really Kyle Rudolph is good, but I don't think you want him to be your second option on offense. So it's like
here's something that I want to mention, and I feel like we should think about this for a topic next week, because I feel we should start talking about fantasy, because a bunch of people are going to draft following next week. Adam Thielen is not going to be a good pick this year for fantasy.
Wow.
Like I just can't feel it. I'm like with Stephon Diggs not being there, like who's going to be the option that's going to like take off the attention off him? Like I don't see him like really escaping from the top cornerbacks in all teams this year. Like I really don't. And like I think that he's not going to be a top fantasy option this year.
Kirk Cousins, man, like I thought he was gonna be good that last game against the Packers, and he really didn't. Like,
I mean, they're kind of a wild card right now. I think like the Bears, at least talent. I mean, they're set as far as talent.
Mm-hmm.
All it comes down to is quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
The Packers have quarterback. They need help in the receiving core. I think for the Vikings, like they just have to change their offense. And like with Adam Thielen, while he will be the number one option offensively, you might see them commit more to Dalvin Cook and try to go more run heavy, because Cook is one of the best running backs in the game. So they can do that. Also, and they can play more defense in the running game. But the problem is, if they fall behind in games, are they going to have enough? They don't have enough firepower to come back and beat teams. Because I look at, the Bears with Allen Robinson, and he's elite. And if Dave Montgomery can stay healthy and Cole Kmet, there's weapons there. The Packers at least have Adams and Jones were two elite players their positions. With the Vikings, just like, I don't know.
That's the thing. Like we're talking, the mileage on Dalvin Cook next season is going to be too much. Meanwhile, with the Packers and the Bears, they go by committee, because I know the Packers are going to go by committee. They're going to play A.J. Dillon, and they're going to play Jamal Williams, and the Bears as well. Cordero Patterson, you got Terry Cullen.
Yeah, Cordero's moving to running back now, so it's like they're going to give him plenty more opportunities on offense, and that to me, that sounds really. I'm interested to see how that works out. So there is talent. There's clearly talent in this team. They have a shot. It's really just whether it be Foles, Trubisky, can they step up? Can they do enough to help them get maybe win the division this year? So this division is as wide open as it's been in a while.
Don't sleep on the Lions, you guys. Why are you being so mean on the Lions?
Because they haven't done anything in years. They started off well last year. Okay, but then they fell back down to earth. It's just like the Lions to me are just – they're the Detroit Lions. And even when they start winning –
that's every season, the Detroit Lions. It's like –
when they start winning games, it's like – and they try and get to the playoffs, they always choke. It happens all the time. Matthew Stafford is a good quarterback, okay? And if it wasn't for him, that team would be horrible.
Why are we talking about Matthew Stafford and not David Blau?
Oh, my God, David Blau.
Matthew Stafford's time in Detroit it's getting close to the end.
It's running out, man. It's like –
Yes, it is. And for Matt Patricia, it's running out too. If they don't do anything this fired, he's gone.
Yeah.
So he's been disappointing for them. You know,
He's in the. I think he might be in the hot seat. He might be in the hot seat. Like, and
100%.
and that's. I think that's might be the reason why the Lions actually like succeed. I don't know. I'm rooting for them because they're the one team that actually did the whole message of the racial injustice like this week. They're the ones that carried the message. So maybe that shows that the team is together. And from what I heard is that Patricia was actually one of the people that was encouraging them not to practice that day, which I actually found surprising enough with like the whole character that Patricia has. So like I'm not going to rule him out. I'm not going to rule him out. I'm not going to rule anyone out anymore. Right now, everyone's 0-0 in the standings.
Well,
and plus, there's no preseason to like judge.
Yeah, that's true. But I just think now, okay, I will say this: Detroit, they could surprise some people, win some surprise games. They'll be competitive, okay? Because maybe, I mean, I do respect very much for what they did.
I mean, they were in late games last year.
Yeah, it's just like, Matthew Stafford's gonna keep him every game because the dude's got the strongest arm there is, and the dude can make any play. So he'll keep them in game. Just that talent, as far as talent's concerned, they don't stand a chance against the other team in the division.
Also,
I
never understood taking DeAndre Swift over Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor could have been like the guy for them. Like,
how can you say that when we haven't even had the season?
Okay, Jonathan Taylor or DeAndre Swift?
I don't know, man. They're both really good. The thing is,
Set.
You're a Wisconsin guy, so you're gonna go with Jonathan Taylor.
Set.
Yeah, Big Ten guy. Yeah.
I think that you have to let it play out. I'm with Josiah here. You have to let it play out.
I think you have to let it play out. We're just going. Robert's going a little more extreme than I am on that one.
No, yeah, we haven't even started the season. You're already saying that it's a dumb pick. How about we?
I'm not saying it's a dumb pick. I just think he's better.
Okay,
but he's better.
He could be better, but DeAndre Swift may be the better fit for that offense. In my opinion, I mean, we don't know that.
I mean, but Jonathan Taylor can do it all on running.
I get it. You love your player, all right, but let the season play out before we even give a judge.
I just think
made the right.
I just think Jonathan Taylor's more versatile.
Okay, but okay.
All right. Next topic.
Last fun topic. So with the trade deadline happening tomorrow for the MLB, I was thinking we should do what is a trade in any sport of your favorite teams, a trade that you wanted your team to make and that were close to making, but that never happened.
Man, this is a hard one for me to even think about.
I still don't even know. I'm thinking
the one that I thought of was a move that I'm not even sure they were close in making, but I just really wanted. In like 2017, just when Jay Cutler was on his way out of Chicago, and the Bears were, in the process, they were going to draft a quarterback, and they draft Trubisky. I thought that as far as they needed a stopgap guy, or at least a guy that, I just wanted them because at that point they lose Cutler. They need an answer. They need to find someone, and I thought, Jimmy Garoppolo would have been the perfect guy for that. Now we know what happened. He was traded to the Niners. And I don't even really think the Bears were really close to making that move. So I'm just going to say that. But I just thought that was the move to make at the time because I'm like, you got yourself a guy in Jimmy Garoppolo who was just on New England, who showed flashes of what he could do. And now what type of player he is now. He's a guy that can lead a team to a Super Bowl and that can win one. And I thought that was the move that was perfect because you lose Jay Cutler was gone. And we hadn't drafted anyone yet. And even if we got Trubisky, like you would have had, if they would have gotten Jimmy Garoppolo, they wouldn't have drafted a quarterback. They would have gotten somebody else. But that was the guy that I had my eye on because when they were talking about, okay, who do the Bears want to get? Do they want to draft somebody? Do they want to trade? I'm like, man, if there was some way they could like find a trade for Jimmy Garoppolo, that would have been great because who knows what could have happened at that. Now, maybe we wouldn't have had as good of a defense as we have now. I probably wouldn't have, but that at that time, I thought that was the move I really wanted to make. And that's pretty much the only one I'm thinking of. Honestly, the more I think about this, the more I'm thinking of moves that my team shouldn't have made. That's what I'm thinking of.
I agree with Josiah. That was my thing. I was like, man, like I'm more thinking about moves that shouldn't happen than moves that should.
I can say that one too. We can mention
but you know what? I'm gonna mention this as to like the moment where I was a Boston Red Sox fan. And they almost got A-Rod. And it was like, oh, were they going to get A-Rod? oh, weren't they gonna get A-Rod? And this was actually to like the point where I was like really became like a Red Sox fan. Like I was a Braves fan growing up because they were like the syndicated like team. They were on TBS, and I was like, oh, I'm automatically a Braves fan because they're always on TV. But really became a Red Sox fan around the time when this deal became hot for A-Rod. And it was literally almost like you woke up one day and he was a Red Sox, and then the next day, like it just didn't happen. And it was like it's crazy. There's a 30 for 30 short on it. I don't know if it's called The Deal or like it it's something like that. You guys should watch it if you haven't seen it. It's pretty interesting, and it's not to that like I hate what happened because the Red Sox won the World Series like fairly recent, like around that time. Or even actually that year, actually the Red Sox won the World Series. But it would have made the Yankees a worse team for like the at least for the following
That would
5
have been
years.
nice. That would have been nice.
And I think it would have been a cooler look to the Red Sox with A-Rod there. So that was my pick automatically when you put the topic up.
Thinking of A-Rod and going to the Red Sox makes me think of that commercial with David Ortiz and Jorge Posada. And the mascot, David Ortiz puts the Yankees cap on,
Yeah,
and Wally just goes crazy.
Right.
yeah, that's
No,
a
Wally,
great commercial. That's a great
Yeah.
commercial, actually.
I think I have, yeah.
Yeah. By the way, 9 football players for the Auburn team have COVID-19.
Yikes.
Great, amazing.
Yeah, not good. Love to see
Well,
that.
hey,
I would-
hey, maybe that'll cause everything to be delayed till November, and the Big Ten will be able to join the party, and Ohio State can still win the national championship that we were destined to win this year.
It's okay. We got Austin P as national powerhouse.
Yeah. The
Austin.
poor Central Arkansas. Poor.
Yeah,
Dude,
Poor.
Josiah thought it was said Austin, PA.
Oh no. Oh
Yeah.
no. You are not a true governor, sir. You
I'm such
are
an
not a
idiot.
governor.
The pronunciation for a college that no one's ever heard of.
We've
So,
heard of it.
I think the
you
people
guys
who
literally
go
bet on
there have
every
heard it.
single college game there is, so you know every single school possible. But I don't. I didn't know. Okay, whatever.
Okay, very good.
Your turn,
so
Seth.
that A-Rod thing, that was was that at the end of him being with the Rangers, or when was that?
He was with the Rangers and he was just traded to the Yankees. And that was like right after Aaron Boone hit the home run. So the
So-
Red
so
Sox
this
actually
was-
won the World Series that year.
So this would have been into 2000.
This is 2004, bro.
When Dave Roberts stole the base.
So
Yeah.
man, so A-Rod, if everything goes, then A-Rod with the championship and everything's different for him until, of course, we find out that he was taking steroids, and then things all that, or would he have never taken steroids on that? Oh, I'm a Red Sox. I don't need.
I
don't even
think
need
I think that it's possible that no one would have found out. I
Well,
think
no,
that
but if you already had that test that was anonymous, that's the reason that we found out in the first place. The anonymous test he took when he was with the Rangers that came out like years later. But anyway, so my pick. You guys know who my favorite Cleveland Cavalier of all time is. A man by the name of Zydrunas Ilgauskas. And there was a time back in 2009 we talked about when the Cavs traded for Shaq. It was right after we came off a 66-win season, and I thought Shaq was going to be the final piece because that was going to help us defend against Dwight Howard and the Magic, and that was how we were going to get to the finals. And besides that, we already had everything else. And we, going into like halfway through the season, we had the best record in the league. But we were going to add one more part. And what we did was we traded Z for basically Antoine Jamison, and then we were able to get, because the Wizards released him immediately, we were able to get Zydrunas Ilgauskas back, and he finished the season with us. I thought having Antoine Jamison, that might be the final piece.
He was good on it in his days. He was really good.
Underrated.
Yeah,
Underrated as hell.
Yeah. But that wasn't the only trade we were working on. It was either that, it was either Zydrunas Ilgauskas for
Delonte West.
Wow.
LeBron's dad.
for Antoine Jameson. The other thing we were for Amari Stoudemire. Did you guys hear?
Oh, Amari Stoudemire.
Oh.
Yeah, Amari Stoudemire. So we decided that J.J. Hickson was too valuable. So we hung on to him instead of trading for Amari. The 2010 playoffs could have gone really differently if LeBron was engaged, and if Amari is on the Cavs, maybe that's the difference for LeBron being engaged in the series, and maybe that changes everything. Maybe I don't know. But instead we had Antoine Jameson, and the Celtics series happened, and I don't know if we'll ever figure out exactly what happened there. But thank God we hung on to J.J. Hickson because we got another good year and a half out of him. And so that was really
Just making me remember all these players, and I'm like, oh my God, the Cavs, those guys didn't even win.
Hey, I remember though. The most recent Cavs game I went to was about 9 years ago. It was the Cavs beat the Heat 102-90. LeBron coming back to Cleveland. It was his second game back in Cleveland. The Cavs won, and J.J. Hickson outplayed Chris Bosh. Maybe the only time that's ever happened, or the only time he's ever outplayed a player that good. But J.J. Hickson outplayed Chris Bosh that night. It was a great night.
The only thing I remember from J.J. Hickson is when he dunked on Dwayne Wade. That's all I remember from. That's all I think about with J.J. Hickson. That's it. That's the extent of.
Wow,
it.
I remember more Jamario Moon than JJ Hickson. Imagine that.
Robert, it's your turn, actually.
I was gonna say, man, those you make me remind me of those
Really?
Wizards team.
Oh yeah. Dude,
Yeah.
The Wizards and the
Those
Cavs had a really
They
good
could have been better.
backcourt.
They
They could
I
have
don't
been better
know.
until Gilbert Arenas had that gun incident.
yeah, they were
Yeah,
good.
no.
They could have been better. Is my thing.
It was
No,
him,
no.
Ron-
The
Antoine
Cavs
Jameson.
and Wizards rivalry for like 3 years was pretty awesome
Yeah.
Yes.
in the playoffs.
Okay, so I'm just gonna play the song for the. You know that song?
My favorite song, of course. Love playing it every season. So no one gets it. You guys don't get it? Oh my God.
What's your
what kind
pick, Robert?
The
This-
Packers,
music do
the
you guys
Packers
have?
were this close to getting Kelly O'Mac.
Ha! And they didn't.
Yeah.
You didn't. Return of the Mac. That's what it's called.
Division
You guys
rival.
really did. Where's the taste in music? Jeez. Unbelievable.
No,
We
I
were
just didn't know that the Packers were that close to getting.
We were
They
closer
were.
than the Bears.
I thought we wouldn't. I thought
Wait,
they'd get.
what do you mean you were
We were
closer than
hours
the-
away probably of getting him, and they just balked.
So, okay, it makes sense, Robert. That's a really good
closer than
pick.
the Bears to
And
get-
it's kind
to
of
getting
funny
Khalil
that you're
Mack.
making that face next to Josiah, who gets to like all the enjoyment of that occurrence.
Okay, Jesus
But here's the one thing that's obvious about
But here's also the thing is now they have a good defense, so I can't complain. But Khalil Mack would have been good.
Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack is like the best defense.
Yeah.
He's like a
Well,
Jamal Adams. You don't want to lose him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You don't
I'll
want
never
to lose
understand-
him.
yeah.
I'll never get why the Raiders let him go. I just.
But
Never
but
gonna understand him.
but I'm happy with our two big guys in Preston Smith and Sedarius Smith. The Smith Bros, they're really good, and we have a nice future.
So that's the one. I actually have just like a few of the trades that I didn't that shouldn't have happened.
Okay.
Let's leave that for another week because I have a great one too.
I really want to
Just
say
say
it
it now.
Why does it? Come on, let's just.
Or
say
do
it
you
right
gotta
now.
go? You gotta go now.
No, fine. I'll say it now. Let's add like 5 more minutes to this. Here, 5, 4, 3,
Okay,
4.
I'll just because
Go.
I have three. I'm just gonna mention two and then explain one of them. So like just when I think about worst moves in Chicago sports history, let's see. Chicago White Sox giving up Fernando Tatis Jr. to get James Shields. Terrible move. I mean, James Shields is okay, but like Fernando Tatis Jr.
Oh my God, that was horrible, man.
Yeah. And then let's see what else. You got the Chicago Bears trading Greg Olson. I mean, why did we do that?
That made zero sense.
Been for years.
And now they have 10 tight ends on the team.
Okay, which is going to be 3 when the season starts, so it's a non-issue. But the one trade I do want to talk about, when the Bulls 2006 traded LaMarcus Aldridge for Tyrus Thomas and Victor Kriapa. That right there is the worst move in Chicago history. Number one, like LaMarcus Aldridge, multi-time All-Star. I mean, he right now is still an All-Star caliber player. And let's see, Tyrus Thomas lasted, 5 years in the league? Now, I was a kid at the time. I didn't understand how the NBA worked. So I loved Tyrus Thomas because all he did was dunk and block shots. As far as statistics went, nothing. He was pretty freaking disappointing.
He was Rob Williams. Rob Williams would put them.
Yeah, I mean, he was energy. He gave us energy, and at least he lasted with the team. Victor Kriapa lasted a year, and he was gone. So that was an absolute joke of a trade because then LaMarcus Aldridge with that Blazers team when they had Brandon Roy, and then that group when they were and then when Dame came in after Roy was getting hurt. I mean, God, if the Bulls would have drafted LaMarcus Aldridge, now they wouldn't have gotten Derrick Rose if they would have drafted LaMarcus Aldridge. But I mean, that year they were almost 50 wins. I mean, we had Kirk Heinrich, Ben Gordon. We signed Ben Wallace in the offseason. Past his prime Ben Wallace, and then Luol Deng, Chris Duhon, that whole team. You put Aldridge with those guys. Oh my God, they could have come. I wouldn't say they would come out of the East, but they could have gone to the conference finals if they had LaMarcus Aldridge. I mean, that really set us back a few years, and then we got D Rose, and then we were good for a little while. But that was still.
I'm gonna be really fast with this one.
What?
I'm gonna be really fast with my answer. When the Dallas Mavericks traded for Rajon Rondo, I always will regret making that trade. And it's not even Brendan Wright, who was the player that they traded, was playing extremely well for the Mavs at the time.
Jameer Nelson was playing good.
What?
Jameer Nelson was okay.
Yeah, and Jameer Nelson was okay too. Like it was an okay team before, and it almost felt like all of a sudden Rondo messed up all the chemistry. And to me, what's sad is that that was the last year that Dirk was talented or had the power enough to actually be the Dirk that he could be. And that's what's sad. I wouldn't have done that trade. I wouldn't have done that trade because the Mavs were playing really well before the Rondo trade happened. It's not like they also played okay when the Rondo trade happened, but you saw what Rondo did in the playoffs, and he was a head case. And he was a head case inside of the Carlisle offense because Carlisle's offense does not need a Rondo. Rondo is a special offensive player. He's a special offensive point guard. He has to have the ball in his hand for it to work. Carlisle's offense is all about having no real point guard. Having guards that can just pass the ball well.
Ellis and Rajon Rondo together.
So it was just horrible. It was a horrible trade, and yeah, I know I sound like a robot sometimes, but yeah, it was a horrible trade, and it's the trade I regret the most, and that was the one that came immediately to my head when this topic came up and everything, and I can't think of anything else other than this one.
I want to shout out that trade because it gave me one of my favorite press conference moments of all time when Rondo was being introduced with the team. When he was there with Carlisle and Cuban at the press conference, and one reporter asked, "Why did you decide to come to Dallas?" And his response was in a very monotone voice, "I didn't decide to come here. I was traded here." And it was just if you had any excitement at that moment as a fan, that would have destroyed any excitement that you had just because the tone of voice, they brought Cuban out. They wanted everyone to be excited. And the tone of voice basically saying, "I don't want to be here," was just wonderful.
But that's just also because it was a trade that the Mavs were forced to make.
Yeah.
It was they have to make it because if they don't make it, it's they're losing out on a chance to actually win a championship. And you're like, what the fuck, man? Really? You messed up the whole chemistry.
Wow. Jamal Murray, 44 points.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Nuggets. It's gonna look like you can get a game 7.
Nuggets in Jazz series. Hold on. The Nuggets look like they might force Game 7.
They're
So-
gonna.
and
there's
I'm
a minute
wrong.
left. There's no way.
I mean, yeah.
What's your
I
pick,
was
Seth?
wrong too.
What's
so.
your pick, Set?
Mhm.
It was like
Seth,
You know what? I'm gonna go with my. I'm gonna go. This is gonna be my third pick in the last 2 weeks because I went with Nuggets in 6, I think,
No, no,
and
no,
then
no, no,
Jazz
Wait,
in
Browns
6
drafted Baker
earlier
Mayfield.
tonight. Okay.
Is your pick gonna involve Ilgauskas again?
Wait. Oh no. But hey, I was just gonna mention about the Nuggets Jazz series, but since Josiah brought that up, Josiah and I were at MUTV at the same time, and we actually did a mock draft, a mock top 5. At the time, I did not have Baker Mayfield going number 1. This was like who I thought like should be picked. You know who I had going number 4 to the Cleveland Browns? I had Lamar Jackson, and everybody laughed at me at how stupid I was for having Lamar Jackson go in the top 5. Vindicated right there. Vindicated. Because I had just taken Barkley at number 1 and then Lamar at number 4, and I got laughed out of the room.
Okay, what's the trade?
Yeah, I don't have a trade.
You don't have a trade?
No, not at least off the top of my head. No.
That's
Come on,
awesome.
I just told you the Browns drafting Baker Mayfield.
That's not a trade.
That's not a trade.
Move.
I still like the move though.
That's a move. I'm kidding. All right. Well, thanks for your input, Seth. Robert, what were you gonna say?
I mean, honestly, my teams have never made a bad trade.
Wow.
Think of,
Get out of here.
think of one. Think of one. I'll let you.
Okay, I'm sure I could think of one. I think it's just you being.
Would
like,
you consider the Manny Machado trade a good one?
Well, they needed it. They needed it because they didn't give up much, and Corey Seager was injured, so it's not a bad trade.
I'm sure I could find something.
Nobody of those prospects were gonna do something.
Well, I mean,
Here's a trade that shouldn't have that the Celtics really won by a lot against the Nets. That trade shouldn't have happened for like the Nets.
well, let's see.
Yeah.
I mean, they traded for Kyrie Irving, and they ended up
Yeah,
in the
I
first
think
year without.
that's a
and
good
the next year They
choice.
weren't that good. I mean, you get rid of Isaiah Thomas.
But then again, Isaiah Thomas, what has he done after this?
That's why, because
Yeah,
you got rid
that
of
trade was kind of an amazing, just destruction for both teams.
But
That
I
was
just
actually
think that
pretty impressive.
wasn't going to be the same.
How do you? Well, I don't know. I feel like the change. He didn't need a change.
He hasn't
either.
been the same.
He hasn't, but like I think the Celtics are
And right,
better off.
right now, I kind of like Kemba more.
We're not talking about Kemba. This is from years ago, dude. Okay, that's a move that I mean, it only lasted 2 years. Kyrie was on the
Here's a
team, so-
move that not my team at all, but one that I've been thinking of that it shouldn't happen for an NBA team. It was Carmelo leaving the Nuggets.
Really?
I do not like. I loved Carmelo in New York, but let's be honest, he would have done more in the Nuggets than he would have done with the Knicks.
What he should have done is he should have gotten the same contracts as LeBron and Wade, so he could have been a free agent in 2010 along with them, and
I
then
mean-
then he could have gone to the Knicks with Amari
One
without
move,
Nuggets
one
losing.
move I didn't understand was Carmelo staying with the Knicks instead of going to the Bulls because I thought it was a great addition for the Bulls.
But
if
he's a
Carmelo
New York
would've gone
City
to the
guy. That's
Bulls.
why.
I have
Guys.
one here.
Yeah,
for the
go
fact-
ahead.
Wait, I do have one. And Robert, you're not going to like it, but this is what media believes,
What
and
year?
I still believe
What
it.
year?
This year when they traded up for Jordan Love, they didn't need to do that. Jordan Love was going to fall in their lap
That's a draft.
anyway.
That's a draft.
It's a trade though. They traded up to get him. Did they
Good
need
one.
to? I don't think they. I thought he was going to fall right in their lap, and they would be like, "All right, we got him." But you traded up.
I love the trade.
I don't
All
know,
right,
man.
fine.
I
Anyways,
that was a
I,
weird-
I gotta go now, you guys.
Donovan
Now
Mitchell
it's a
was
point
no
where
acceptance.
I gotta go. So,
Okay.
I love the talk, but anyways, Robert, you want to start closing it up?
We should do it. How about we do it earlier next week?
Sure, I'm
we're-
always up to doing it earlier.
Yeah, because you finish at 11, and I don't want you to finish at 11. So
Also, like this week went kind of later because we had the special one before.
Yeah, I agree. But anyways, it was a great talk. I like the fun topic. Hopefully, the world will keep on changing for the better.
yeah, let's hope for that. So let's put our give our social medias. Remember to follow us on Twitter at sports_accent and our YouTube page sports with an accent. My Twitter page is at Rob Soltero.
Mine is J.H. Schueneman spelled SCHUENEMAN. If you want to talk about sports, if you want to talk about why the Packers trading up for Jordan Love was the bad move, let me know.
And if you want to talk about Mitchell Trubisky sucks, you can talk to me about it.
Oh, got him.
Yeah, wouldn't be the first time. All right, who's next?
I am at Seth Pollock. So at Seth Pollock on Twitter.
Freeze!
I'm at BRios PR on Twitter and Brian Alexander
Facebook.
Rios in Facebook.
There it is.
Make sure to rate and review, everybody. We love our number one fans.
Yes, please continue to do so. Continue to listen.
I like how Robert's frozen, but he's still blinking. Like,
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Just try
take
not
care, everyone.
to do.
Thank you for the live stream and thank you for everyone that listens to our podcast. And nothing. Hopefully, everything will get better. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Don't freeze. Whatever.